play today, and we're giving it to you free. Plus, the whole week, absolutely free. That's right, today's play and the whole week are on us. It's heard on ESPN, VSiN, and Fox Sports. Call now, 855-BIG-PLAY. Don't wait. Today's Big Play and this week's package, yours free. 855-BIG-PLAY, 855-244-7529. Start winning today. Free access awaits. 855-BIG-PLAY. Chuck Edel. The plays are free. Call now.
Makita's built for the pros who show up early, who don't do shortcuts, only precise cuts. With tools built to last, job after job, year after year. Performance that pays off, because when the job calls for the best, you answer. And when you need the best, you call on Makita. Built to be the best. Available at the Home Depot.
New tires? Now through November 30th, save $100 instantly when you buy a set of 4 Bridgestone WeatherPeak tires. Save $70 instantly when you buy a set of 4 eligible Bridgestone tires, or buy a set of 4 eligible Firestone tires and save $60 instantly. Only at Express Tires. Express Tires, 7215 Watt Avenue. Offer valid November 1st through November 30th, 2025. Cannot be combined with other offers. See store for details.
At Downtown Ford Sacramento, we're proud of our long heritage. We've consistently provided Ford cars and trucks to families and businesses in this region for over 100 years. If we think about it, practically every kid who grew up in this town at one time or another rode around in a Ford that we sold to their family. We've served multiple generations of local farmers and ranchers who got their rugged Ford trucks from us. We've also provided many of the emergency vehicles that you see out doing the people's work every day on the streets. All of us at Downtown Ford, from our top-notch service department who keep your Ford running like new, to our dedicated finance team and the guys and gals in our showroom, we thank you for generations of love and loyalty to us. And for that love, we say right back at you. We're doing Fords just like we always have. Come see us any day of the week or visit us online at downtownfordsacramento.com.
Tired of the same old routine? Need a place where the beer flows and the good times roll? Then head to Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, 1833 Fulton Avenue. Family owned and operated, so you know you'll feel right at home. Catch all your favorite games on 18 big screens while enjoying amazing food. And with 28 beers on tap, you're sure to find something you love. And don't miss everyday happy hour from 3 to 7 and again from 10 till close. Looking for more than just the game? Trivia Tuesday starts at 7 p.m. And there's Mario Kart and bingo nights for even more fun, too. There's always a blast happening at Fieldhouse. Whether you're looking for a place to watch the game, grab a bite with the family, or just unwind with friends, Fieldhouse is the place to be. Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, 1833 Fulton Avenue. Bring it to the house.
Business owners, Grant Napier's back, bringing Fox Sports Radio to the forefront of sports talk in Sacramento. That means more listeners, more potential customers who could be spending money for your products and services. This is Kurt Bagelman, General Manager for Fox Sports Radio in Sacramento. Grant's back, and his return is an opportunity for your business. Listen, the sports talk audience is a target-rich group of consumers. 80% are employed. Nearly 60% earn six-figure incomes. 67% own their homes. Take advantage of the attention Grant's return has generated to tell people where to spend their money. This is a unique opportunity to increase your sales right now. It costs nothing to learn how a good strategy and a great commercial message heard by sports fans could help your business. So call me, 916-779-0914. 779-0914. Radio and Grant get results, and we are here to help. Call 779-0914.
All right, son. Time to put out this campfire.
Dad, we learned about this in school.
Oh, did you now? Okay. What's first?
Smokey Bear said to.
First, drown it with a bucket of water, then stir it with a shovel.
Wow, you sound just like him.
Then he said,
if it's still warm, then do it again.
Where can I learn all this?
It's all on SmokeyBear.com with other wildfire prevention tips. Because only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Grant's back. Join the conversation every weekday afternoon beginning at 3 p.m. KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst, K284CM 104.7 FM Sacramento.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Grant's back, and here to win. It's the Grant Napear Show on Fox Sports Radio Sacramento. Now, Grant Napear.
And a good afternoon. Hope everybody is doing well. The Kings have moved on to Chicago. They are 1-3, and they'll take on a Bulls team that has gotten off to a very good start. They are at 3-0, and all three games have been against teams in the East that have been projected to finish ahead of them. So a very good start for the Bulls and for Sacramento. We'll see about the fatigue. They scored only 18 points in the fourth quarter and once again crumbling down the stretch, 107-101. So I've got some thoughts on that game last night. We've got Brian Knight, former MLB umpire, coming your way at 4 o'clock today. So that is on the menu, at least for right now. And, of course, we will talk some NFL and some college football as well. And, oh, yeah, by the way, there is something called the World Series going on, and it is going to be a pivotal Game 5. So we've got a lot to talk about. Of course, we welcome your phone calls and text messages at 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929. All right, my thoughts about last night. The Oklahoma City Thunder clearly are a great team. We know they are because we watched them win the championship last year. And they have, I think, the very best player in the NBA in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Here's what they did not have last night. They didn't have Chet Holmgren. They didn't have Jalen Williams. They had opened up the season with back-to-back double overtime games, and last night they were completing a stretch of 3 games in 4 nights, including the night before against the Dallas Mavericks. I don't know about you, but it was clear to me as I was watching the game that it was affecting primarily their perimeter shooting and their bunnies around the basket. They missed an inordinate amount of point-blank shots, particularly in the first half. The Kings, I said before the game, I thought they had a very good chance to win the game last night based on that information. Generally, teams that play 3 and 4, especially if in that week you've already had back-to-back double overtime games, I thought the Kings had a really good chance to win the game. And as I was watching the game, I felt like the Kings really were going to win the game in the fourth quarter. I thought they were going to win the game. Except for the Kings don't play smart in crunch time, and the Kings make too many stupid mistakes during the course of a game. There was one instance in the third quarter that I just could not believe. The Oklahoma City Thunder had fought back and had actually taken the lead at the foul line, 71-70. The Kings then went on a double-digit run, and they're up 81-71, and everything is going their way. Thunder can't make a shot. Kings are making shots. The ball's moving. They're in the flow of the offense. All of a sudden, they come back in transition, and Dennis Schroeder takes a quick, off-balance 3 from the right wing. No good. Oklahoma City gets the ball. They come down and they score. Kings inbound the ball. They come down. They take another 3. Oklahoma City scores. Kings come right down. Again, take another 3. 4 possessions in a row that were horrible possessions. There were too many instances, especially down crunch time, where the Kings want to just play hero ball, and they don't run anything. And they just want to ISO. And give credit to Oklahoma City. Yeah, they know how to win. They showed it last year. But in the final, particularly 2 to 3 minutes of the game last night, the Thunder made all the plays, got all of the loose balls, made all the hustle plays, and converted some big shots and went on a 17-4 run to end the game. Think about that. A team that's playing their third game and fourth nights without their second and third best players closed the game on a 17-4 run. Now, I'm aware the Kings didn't have Keegan Murray and Nick Clifford, but, I mean, come on. You can't compare that to not having Holmgren and Williams. Now, I know they have SGA, and the Kings don't have an SGA. Nobody in the league has an SGA. So then you get to the post-game press conference. And I said this on my rant this morning. I know Doug Christie very well. I probably know him better than anybody listening to this show. I know he loves the Kings. I know he loves Sacramento. I know he would love nothing more than to bring success back to this Sacramento Kings organization. We don't have to debate that. We don't have to discuss that. That's a given, and every single person in this community and the surrounding communities know that. Okay? So we get that. But for Doug to go on the post-game press conference and make a couple of comments such as, we could easily be 4-0. You know, Doug, I hate to break this to you, but you're much, much closer to being 0-4 than 4-0. Like, it's not even close, okay? You played the two of the bottom teams in the West in games 1 and 2. You had a 20-point lead in the first game. And yes, that's a game that you absolutely gave away. The second game, you came within one defensive rebound by the Utah Jazz through the hands of Kessler, which I still don't know how he didn't gather that rebound. And the ball ends up in the hands of Sabonis, and he makes the basket and he's fouled. And instead of trailing by 1, the Kings go up by 1. And that was the last Sacramento possession. It was the last basket of the game. And the Kings beat the Jazz by 1. Then you're playing the Lakers without Luka and LeBron. And Gabe Vincent goes out in the third quarter with an ankle, and you lose. Okay? Then last night, you allow the Thunder to go on a 17-4 run with stupid basketball, low IQ plays, getting out-hustled in critical moments of the game. So, like, you're lucky you're not 0-4. All right? You know, if you really want to look at it objectively, you should be 1-3, but you should have lost the Jazz game and you should have won the Suns game. You should not have won the Lakers game. And last night, you didn't play smart enough to beat the Oklahoma City Thunder. You just didn't. So that bothers me. The other thing, and I understand Doug needs to speak to the media, and I think Doug does an excellent job at the press. I think he does a very good job. I give him a grade of an A in how he handles the media. I think he does an excellent job. But, I mean, come on. You know, you're making it sound like you lost to the team that we watched in Game 7 of the NBA Finals last year. You didn't play that game. You didn't play that team last night. Okay, you didn't play the team that we saw win the championship last year. You played a team without Holmgren, without Williams, and you played a team playing their third game in 4 nights. The Thunder played, maybe, if you were going to grade them on their game, and you asked everyone that are Thunder fans to grade the team after the game last night, at the best, they would have given them a C+, probably a C, maybe a C-. I mean, you got to be honest here. They didn't play well. And so another opportunity goes by the board for the Sacramento Kings. Now, we talk about who starts and who doesn't start. So in 4 games now, the Kings have had 4 different starting lineups. And Doug was asked about it twice during the postgame last night. And he basically said it centered around not having Keegan Murray and trying to find this, trying to find that. I get that. I'm okay with that. Okay? So last night, he started Russell Westbrook, who played on the front line with Sabonis, DeRozan. It was Schroeder and Levine in the backcourt. So you went with a small lineup. I'm fine with that. Ryan made a very good point during the 5 o'clock hour of the show yesterday. Russ ended up making his first threes of the game look very good. After that, okay, he missed 4 of his next 5 3-point attempts. He ended up 6 of 16, and you might look at his total and go, oh, wow, you know what? He had a really good game. He does what he always does. He rebounds the basketball with 9. He had 16 points. He had 4 assists, did turn the ball over twice. But he had the worst plus-minus of anyone on the floor last night wearing a Kings jersey with minus 16. Now, sometimes a plus-minus can not be totally accurate if you go game by game, but I'm just pointing out that when he was on the floor, he had the worst plus-minus of anybody at minus 16. Am I blaming the loss on him? Absolutely not. Okay? This team absolutely continues to make me scratch my head. Just does. I don't know, we're talking about a veteran team, right? We're talking about players that have been through this time and time again. Sabonis was not good last night. He has not been good in the 3 games that he's played. He was 5 of 15, had the ball taken out of his hand a couple of times. He had 10 points, and he just doesn't look like the same Sabonis that we're accustomed to seeing. Schroeder, to me, makes too many bad decisions based on the first 4 games that I've seen. Makes too many bad decisions, and I'm tired of seeing him shoot the 3 ball. He is not shooting the ball well from downtown, never really has. Okay, that's not his game. And right now, when you look at his 3-point shooting, 28% through 4 games. 28%. You know what? When I have Zach LaVine next to me, okay, get the ball to him. He'll create a shot. I'll let him shoot threes anywhere he wants to on the floor. He, once again, was 4 of 6 from beyond the line. So I've been saying this for several weeks now. This team does not mesh. They don't fit together. Okay? They just don't. And I also would like to tell you that I've said that I like to go by 5-game increments. And right now it's 4 games. And I've also said I like to see 20 to 25 games before I get a full read on the team. So could I be wrong about my statement that they don't fit together? Yeah, I guess I could, because, I want to see 20 games or so. And yes, I'm aware that Keegan Murray is not on the floor, and I'm aware that Nick Clifford is not on the floor. But every team that the Kings have played this year so far, with the exception of, I believe, Utah, has had key men out. Jalen Green didn't play in game number 1. I already told you about the Lakers. And last night, the second and third best players, arguably, on the Oklahoma City Thunder didn't play. So I don't want to hear about, your injuries with Keegan Murray and Nick Clifford, who we still really don't know what his value is going to be this year, because we don't have a large enough sample size. But you haven't gone against other teams, okay, at full strength. So I don't want to hear about that, okay, because it's been negated by the other team's injuries. And you can't just say, well, that doesn't matter. Yeah, it does matter. Okay, it does matter, because if you're going to evaluate a team, you have to evaluate them on 2 things. All right, you have to evaluate a team on how they're playing, and are they playing a team that's at full strength. So tonight, you are in Chicago. You're taking on a Bulls team who, when you look at their roster and you look at the Kings roster, the Kings are better. They got much better personnel, period. But the Bulls are off to a good start. They've had a night off. And quite frankly, I don't have any confidence that if the game is close tonight in the 4th quarter, that the Kings are going to find a way to win, period. So I just am absolutely perplexed at how a veteran team can crumble at the end of games like we've seen so early in the season. And my observation is that they're a bunch of individuals and they're not a team. This from the 209. Grant, I agree with you about Coach Christie's post-game comments after the Lakers game. He blamed the refs. I don't like the tone of the coach and the media stuck on excuses. You commented on how the Thunder broadcast didn't make any excuses despite being on a back-to-back with injuries. We keep hearing about building culture. Not a good start from Daniel. Don't disagree with that. This from the 530. The Kings don't play together as a team. Too much isolation. 100% correct. 100% correct. 916. DeMar flew in for the offensive rebound versus Utah, tipped the ball, and Sabonis ended up with it, but no one is giving DeMar credit. Like overtime was all Sabonis, blah, blah, blah. It's true. DeMar did come in, but the ball still should have been corralled by Kessler. But yes, very good point. The Kings just, to me, are a poorly constructed team. And I don't think that all of a sudden a light switch is going to go off and they're going to start playing differently. We knew this was going to be an issue. And that's why so many people that cover the NBA across the country have been mocking the Kings. You heard Zach Lowe on with Bill Simmons on The Ringer on their podcast. I mean, it was about as negative and as critical as you can get. I've been reading, leading up to the start of the season, excerpts from national NBA columnists ripping the Kings, putting them in the bottom 5 in almost every single category in the league. And here, through 4 games, I mean, I don't have a lot of confidence. Do I think they're going to go 1-81? No. I think they're going to win some games, obviously. They better find a way to win the game tonight because I don't think that they're going to beat Milwaukee. Giannis may have 100 points against this team. And then you play Denver, and you're not going to beat Denver unless they have some players that are out. So, you want to look at being tired. Yeah, maybe you're tired, but Oklahoma City was tired last night, and they found a way to win. You better figure out a way to win the game tonight and hand the Bulls their first loss. All right, because if you head into Milwaukee, who play the Warriors at home tomorrow night, you could be in real trouble. And I've said, in my prediction, which I hope does not come true, I think the Kings are going to be out of it by Thanksgiving. And what I mean by that is I think they're going to be so far behind that I don't see how they are going to catch up in this Western Conference. So I want to talk about that. I want to get your phone calls at 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929. Something else I wanted to talk about real quickly. The Warriors beat the Clippers last night, 98-79. That may have been the worst game that has been televised on a national level. I'm not talking about the quality of the telecast. I'm talking about the game. I mean, I can't believe that game last night. You're going to tell me that the Golden State Warriors in the second quarter scored 13 points. In the third quarter, the Clippers scored 14 points. In the fourth quarter, the Clippers scored 16 points. The Los Angeles Clippers last night scored 30 points in the second half after the Warriors scored only 13 points in the second quarter. And I don't want to hear about that's good defense. That's not good defense. You know what it is? That is pathetic offense. How about these numbers for you? The Clippers in a make-or-miss league shot 36% from the floor and 18% from 3 at 6 of 33. Leonard was 1 of 4. Jones was 1 of 6. Mr. James Harden was 1 of 5. Bogey was 0 of 3. Batum was 1 of 4. Lopez was 0 of 4. I mean, but you know what? Just let's keep shooting threes. No problem. Let's just keep firing away. Just keep shooting, instead of going to the line where they only got to the line a total of 16 times. By the way, the Warriors last night, you ready for this? Shot 4 free throws. 4. Yeah, I didn't hear Steve Kerr after the game talking about the discrepancy in the foul line, even though his team only went there 4 times. You know why? Because they took 45 threes. What an awful game. All right, let's hear from you. 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929. I'll get Ryan's comments as well when we return right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
The NBA season tips off, and so does DraftKings' newest fantasy game. DraftKings Pick 6 is the easiest way to play for big wins, with every possession giving you a shot at real money. Here's how to play. Just pick more or less on 2 or more stats and unlock the upside every game brings. The better your picks, the bigger your payout. Pick 6 is available in your state. Plus, new DraftKings customers can get $50 in bonus picks with just a $5 entry on your first pick set. Don't just watch basketball, cash in. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code KSAC. That's code KSAC. Play just $5. Get $50 in Pick 6 bonus picks. Make the call. Ride the upside in partnership with DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 18 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 bonus picks that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
Need new tires? Now through November 30th, save $100 instantly when you buy a set of 4 Bridgestone Weatherpeak tires. Save $70 instantly when you buy a set of 4 eligible Bridgestone tires, or buy a set of 4 eligible Firestone tires and save $60 instantly at Expert Tires. Expert Tires, 5810 Auburn Boulevard near Manzanita. Offer valid November 1st through November 30th, 2025. Cannot be combined with other offers. See store for details.
The holidays can be a time of increased stress for those struggling with opioid or stimulant use disorder. Complex family dynamics, financial strain, and cultural expectations can weigh heavily and become a tipping point for those battling the physical and mental effects of addiction. But the holidays can also be a time for pause, reflection, opportunity, and new beginnings. They're a chance to take stock of what we have and are thankful for, to remember what's most important to us, and to consider what we can change. The holidays are a time of hope. So this holiday season, choose treatment and recovery. Embrace the support and company of family and friends, and create special moments. Get started by finding a proven opioid or stimulant addiction treatment provider near you at choosechangeca.org. Find a proven treatment option that's right for you. Recover you at choosechangeca.org. That's choosechangeca.org.
Hi, it's Margot from Bennett's Restaurants. Looking for the best happy hour in town? Head to Bennett's, where every day from 2 to 6, you'll find flavor, fun, and serious value. Enjoy over 10 wines by the glass, country club style cocktails like lemon drops, skinny margaritas, and crave-worthy share plates. Short rib tacos, chicken wings, calamari, and more, starting at just $6. It's upscale without the uptight. 3 locations: Roseville, Rockland, and Sacramento. Join us today or check out the menu at bennettsrestaurants.com.
All right, Kings and Bulls tonight. Keon Ellis questionable for Sacramento with shoulder soreness. And if that is the case, this is a really good opportunity for Devin Carter to get more minutes because I thought he actually played pretty well last night when he was in the game. Ryan, did you take anything differently from me from Doug Christie's comments on the postgame show?
Not really. I had some of the same takeaways. I think for me, one of the bigger takeaways was it was the first time he acknowledged the backlog at guards. He's looking forward to attacking that problem once Neat Clifford comes back. But other than that, I think you've hit it spot on, partner.
I just don't think that this team is close. Like, I don't see how all of a sudden they're just going to change their style of play. I mean, these were some of the same issues, Ryan, that we talked about on the postgame show a lot last year, that they don't fit, right? And these pieces it's like a jigsaw puzzle, and you look at the pieces and you're like, wow, they're beautiful. Gosh, look at that. They're so nice.
Yeah.
But then you try to put the puzzle together and it doesn't match. It doesn't fit.
Yeah, and it could fit, but that's where Doug Christie needs to clearly define roles for some of these players. I thought Jerry brought up a great point on the postgame show last night about personalities and what they're used to and, what they've made their career on. And I'm looking at, so Grant, I went and looked at, based on Doug Christie's comments, the different combinations that he's been playing. The Kings have played 5 different combinations that have played 10 minutes or more together. Only one has a positive plus minus at plus 21.8. That's Neat Clifford, DeMar DeRozan, Drew Eubanks, Zach LaVine, Dennis Schroeder. Just to give you another side of that, the group that has the most minutes together, it's 23 minutes, 58 seconds, is DeRozan, LaVine, Sabonis, Schroeder, and Westbrook. They're a negative 34.2 so far this season.
Wow. As far as Dennis Schroeder, if I had to grade him on the first 4 games, I would not give him a very good grade. And as I watch him, I see an individual that has a lot of skills. Okay. He's very skilled, but I understand, because here's the point I want to make. And I always found this in covering the Kings for so many years. When you see an individual every day, you get a different opinion of them if you only see them 2 or 3 times or 4 times a year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But when you watch them play every game, and it's only been 4 games, so I don't want to get carried away, you formulate a different opinion than if they were on another team and you see them play in person 2 times or 3 times or 4 times. I understand now how Schroeder with Detroit was such an effective third guard. Like, I see his role and how he plays, and that now adds up to me. I understand why he was so effective with the Pistons coming off the bench, because ideally, that's his best role. I really believe that.
And expand on that. What do you feel like he was doing more of in Detroit as that third guard?
Well, I didn't watch him play every night in Detroit, but in talking with people and watching the playoffs against the Knicks, with the Knicks and the Pistons, you want your point guard or your third guard to score and to, in many instances, pick up the tempo, pick up the scoring, and give your team a boost, give your team that energy. And the one thing I would say about Schroeder, he seems to be able, Ryan, to get to the basket whenever he wants to.
Mm-hmm.
And for the most part, he's pretty good at finishing around the basket. And he's not really a good 3-point shooter. And his pace is good. He's not afraid to pick up in the backcourt and make the opposition work, even though I wouldn't call him like Gary Payton in his prime playing defense. But the point is, he's okay with that. But I like the tempo that he plays with, and I like the fact that as a third guard, he would give you that oomph. He would give you that shot in the arm that very often you're looking for when you go to the bench.
Very true. I don't want to compare him to Malik Monk, but he spikes the energy. He changes the pace, as you said. And what's been interesting to me with him on this Kings team is we've seen him do both roles, right? And I don't know if it's a choice. I don't know if it's part of the game plan, but we've seen him in more of a scoring role, taking a lot of shots, not going in, the 3-point selection we've talked about. And then in a second half, he'll do the complete opposite. He's swinging the ball around the horn. He's getting to the paint. He's spraying it out. So, which Dennis does this team need? I think we both know the answer to that, but that's up to the coaching staff to ultimately get out of him, because this team didn't need another ball stopper or scorer. They needed a facilitator. They needed an activator, somebody that could balance out the big personalities that you have in the starting lineup.
Yeah, very good point. 916-779-0929. Something else I wanted to get to. Michael Jordan was on the telecast last night on NBC. He was interviewed by Mike Tirico. And Tirico asked him about load management. And Jordan gave a very interesting answer. Quote, "Well, it shouldn't be needed, first and foremost. I never wanted to miss a game because it was an opportunity to prove. It was something that I felt like the fans are there that watch me play. I want to impress that guy way up on top who probably worked his butt off to get a ticket or to get money to buy the ticket." And he said that even applied to the people who came and rooted against him. Yeah, he said, because I know he's probably yelling at me and I want to shut him up. He's calling me all kinds of names. I definitely want to shut him up. You have a duty that if they're wanting to see you as an entertainer, I want to show, right? And he gave a couple examples of that. A couple of things about load management. Very rarely in this day and age is it up to the player. It's a decision that is made by the organization. It is not a decision that is made by the player. Here's my opinion, and it may be outdated, so I'm going to preface that by stating that. I worked in an era, not that I have been gone that long. I mean, it's only been 5 years. But I worked in an era where you played 4 games in 5 nights. During the lockout year in 98, 99, you played 3 nights in a row in 3 different time zones. And the players didn't complain about it. They weren't whining about it. And the players played every game. 4 nights, all right, 4 games in 5 nights, the players played every game. The players practiced. Karl Malone and John Stockton, when I talked to Jerry Sloan and Hot Rod Hundley, the legendary voice, and may both of those great individuals rest in peace because they were great. They said that those guys not only played 82 games a year, they practiced every day. And they didn't have a problem with it. And again, we're talking about 4 games in 5 nights, many back-to-backs. And now what's happened is the league, in my opinion, has, I don't want to know if I should use the term catered, but they've made playing in the NBA, I think they've gone overboard. And I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. For instance, you see a lot of games now where you go on the road, and if you're playing a team twice in their building during the year, there are times now when you'll play that team twice, sometimes on back-to-back nights, sometimes on a Tuesday night, day off Wednesday, Thursday night to cut down on the travel. There are no more 4 games in 5 nights. The Kings have cut back on the back-to-backs, so they have made it much easier on the body to play compared to the way it used to be. I'm not saying it's easy on the body. I'm saying it is easier. Here's something else that has happened, and I'm not a trainer. I'm not a physical therapist, and I'm not a doctor. I think technology has evolved in sports where the players are not treated like human beings anymore in terms of in analyzing a player. They're analyzed as robots. Like the technology involved where now a player in every step that they take is calculated, recorded, so that they know exactly how much a player is running during warm-ups, during practice, during games, and it all comes out on an algorithm, and we talk about analytics, and we talk about all of that. So why is it that just a short period of time ago, players could play 4 games in 5 nights, players could practice every day, players could play 82 games a year? You know, why is it okay for Harrison Barnes to play 82 games every single year, but it's not okay for the player next to him to play 82 games a year? I'll tell you why. Because Harrison Barnes takes care of his body, because he's the ultimate professional. He's the first one in, he's the last one to leave, and he works on his body, and he takes care of his body the same way that Michael Jordan did. Now, you're going to have injuries. There are going to be times when you just can't play because you're hurt, because you're injured, okay? And so that's going to happen. I mean, Keegan Murray can't play. He had surgery on his thumb. I get that, okay? I get the fact that Nick Clifford has a hamstring issue. You can't play if you have a hamstring issue. But how come there are so many hamstring issues? And I don't want to hear about the guys who are running faster and they're jumping higher. Did you watch Dominique Wilkins play? Did you watch Michael Jordan play? I mean, you know, did you watch Spud Webb play if you want to talk about speed? Did you watch Karl Malone play? I mean, I go on and on and on, okay? I mean, it doesn't add up to me, okay? It does not add up to me. It's the same thing that goes on in the NFL. What have they done? They catered to the players. Oh, gee, you know, you can only have X number of days with pads on in training camp. Oh, you can't go 2 days. You can only have 1 practice. well, you can't hit on this day and you can't hit on that day. Look at all the injuries we have. Look at the bad tackling that we have. I mean, we can go on and on and on. I just think it's gotten ridiculous. I really do. I mean, sometimes I think we forget that these individuals are athletes who have been playing a certain way their entire lives. And maybe it's changed in basketball with AAU and everything else. But, like, why was it okay just a short period of time ago to play 82 games and practice and play 4 games in 5 nights? And now, oh, no more 4 games in 5 nights. Oh, you know, we're going to reduce your travel, even though you're flying on a beautiful chartered aircraft and you have all the amenities and you're staying in 5-star hotels. You know what? It's just, to me, gone overboard. It really has. 916-779-0929. You can comment on this if you want. And again, I've been through different generations, so I've seen a lot of things, and I've seen trends. I like to use the word trends because I think that's exactly what has happened. Hey, I want to talk to you about Village Financial Group. Speaking about a trend, it has been very consistent at Village Financial Group because it has been awesome since they opened right around 2000. And that's when I met their broker owner, Spencer Grimmenstein. Hard to believe it's been 25 years. And whether it's a home equity line of credit, buying or selling a home, Spence is a very creative financing specialist, and he has access to private money. You can call or text Spence at 916-805-4868. That's 916-805-4868. And be sure and ask about the investor special. And if you go to thefgloans.com, you'll find over 9,000 properties available for purchase. It makes sense to call Spence at 916-805-4868. Village Financial Group, looking out for your best interest. Phone calls, text messages, when we come back at 916-779-0929, right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Fox Sports traffic as we take our first look at the roadways for this Wednesday evening. We are working a couple of problems out there. US 50 eastbound at 59th Street. We got an accident off to the shoulder through that area. Stop and go traffic pretty much from I-5 out to that scene. So give yourself that extra time to work your way through there. Also got an accident Cap City Freeway eastbound at Watt Avenue off to the shoulder. It is causing a minor slowdown through that area as well. With twice an hour traffic, I'm Andy Bass for Fox Sports Sacramento.
The statewide special election is November 4th. All voters will receive a ballot in the mail and have several options to return their ballot conveniently, including a postage-paid envelope. You can also vote in person at any vote center and have access to your ballot in an accessible format, as well as receive assistance in multiple languages. Be sure to vote early and avoid the lines. Learn more at elections.saccounty.gov or call toll-free 1-800-762-8019.
Business owners, Grant Napier's back, bringing Fox Sports Radio to the forefront of sports talk in Sacramento. That means more listeners, more potential customers who could be spending money for your products and services. This is Kurt Bagelman, General Manager for Fox Sports Radio in Sacramento. Grant's back, and his return is an opportunity for your business. Listen, the sports talk audience is a target-rich group of consumers. 80% are employed, nearly 60% earn six-figure incomes, 67% own their homes. Take advantage of the attention Grant's return has generated to tell people where to spend their money. This is a unique opportunity to increase your sales right now. It costs nothing to learn how a good strategy and a great commercial message heard by sports fans could help your business. So call me, 916-779-0914. 779-0914. Radio and Grant get results, and we are here to help. Call 779-0914.
At Downtown Ford Sacramento, we're proud of our long heritage. We've consistently provided Ford cars and trucks to families and businesses in this region for over 100 years. If we think about it, practically every kid who grew up in this town at one time or another rode around in a Ford that we sold to their family. We've served multiple generations of local farmers and ranchers who got their rugged Ford trucks from us. We've also provided many of the emergency vehicles that you see out doing the people's work every day on the streets. All of us at Downtown Ford, from our top-notch service department who keep your Ford running like new, to our dedicated finance team and the guys and gals in our showroom, we thank you for generations of love and loyalty to us. And for that love, we say right back at you. We're doing Fords just like we always have. Come see us any day of the week or visit us online at downtownfordsacramento.com.
Wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind, like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest.
Uh-oh.
Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. Yikes! So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Don't forget Brian Knight, just retired as a MLB umpire. He'll be coming on at 4 o'clock. Let's get to some phone calls at 916-779-0929. That's 779-0929. We start with Nick in Grass Valley. Nick, welcome to the show.
Hey, Grant. It's great to hear you.
Thank
I've listened to you for a long time, and it's really great to have you back.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, you've been missed. So the one thing I want to say about the load management in today's NBA is, I mean, I know we all talk about how much everybody makes, but I never really hear anybody say, this person makes all this money, and if I put him on load management, maybe he won't get injured because they're making so much money. You can see the logic in that as an owner, but that might be a factor in load management of the current NBA because of how much money everybody's making.
Maybe, maybe not, but how many players have career-threatening injuries during the course of a basketball career? Hardly any. That's number one. Number two, I mean, yes, you see Achilles, particularly in older players, and they generally happen after you see a player like have some type of calf strain or calf issue. Like if you look at Tyrese Halliburton this past year, he had injured that part of his body, and they thought he was good to go, and then he tears his Achilles. Right? We saw that with Kevin Durant when he tore his Achilles and some other players. So I mean, there are times when you want to be cautious, and I'm not saying that, but it's gotten carried away. It's ridiculous, is what's happened. It really has become ridiculous. So much so that the league had to implement a new policy as it relates to load management.
Hey, I wish I had load management at work doing produce.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I could use management.
Thank you, Nick. Appreciate it.
All right. See ya. All right.
Yep.
Welcome.
Take care. All right. Let's get to Richard in Sacramento. Hi, Richard.
Hey, Grant. Glad to have you back on the radio, man. We missed seeing you on TV.
Thank you, Richard. Appreciate it.
I read the article Jordan put out there, and I think I mostly agree with it and a lot of what you're saying. I think the last caller kind of stole some of my thoughts too. I don't know how much the players really have control. I think it's owners really protecting such valuable assets. And
it's
really
not the owners. It's not the owners. It's the training staff and the medical personnel associated with the team and the coach and the general manager. It's really not the owners.
Okay, yeah, maybe so. I just know I've gone to several games hoping to see certain stars. You know, in Sacramento, we don't always have the best team, so sometimes we go to see other players, and then they're not there, and they really suck.
Yeah, you know, in all fairness, real quickly, the one thing I would say about Sacramento, I give them a lot of credit. They have not been part of load management. They don't rest players. So, but go ahead.
Yeah, we can't. We rest the player. We're going to go 0-82. I was going to ask you a question for you, though, because you You did games for so long in an era where players played much more physically, and it seems like I mean I'm 40, so I saw some of the greats play, but I don't remember injuries like ACLs and Achilles really happening at the levels that they're happening now, despite having the same amount of games, roughly 72 to 82 games for the last 2 decades. So do you think maybe the physicality and the athleticism of the players today, they're just, they're really stretching their bodies and it's creating more injuries? Or is it,
I'm sure that has
have we
something.
always played the same amount of games?
Yeah, there's always been the same number of games. I mean, I'm sure that's part
over
of
the
it.
same period of time, or is it more compressed?
Well, the games are a little more spread out now in terms of days off, and travel's a little bit better now, as I talked about in the last segment. So I listen. I wish I could give you the answer, but it would be only speculation on my part.
Yeah, understood. I don't know. That's just my thought. Is maybe this supreme level of athleticism is kind of leading to some more of those injuries, and teams are holding their players out to kind of preserve that asset. But have a great
Thank
day.
you
Glad
very
to have
much.
you on.
Thank you, Richard. Ryan made a good point the other day, and Ryan, I'll bring you in because you said that, part of the issue also is a lot of these players now have their own trainers in the off season, and they're not in sync with what the team's trainers want and are doing. So there's a multitude of reasons on this.
And the way they're tracking the analytics on what those players are doing and output may be very different than what the team's doing. For those wondering, the NBA switched to an 82-game season in 1967-68.
Yeah, I mean, they've had an 82-game season forever, so that's not the issue. And you got to remember, they were flying commercial and taking trains back then.
I think you laid out a beautiful point in this sense. You have computers, not coaches, deciding what is the proper conditioning level. And back then it was coaches. You had coaches pushing you to a level you did not know you could get to. Now you have the numbers saying you can't do that. There's different standards and rules in place about practice as you laid out. And I think probably, if you want to be real about it, the level of conditioning now is not at the same level that it was back when Jordan played. And here's a great point in case. It's Tom Thibodeau and what he did with the Knicks last year. He got ran into the ground about the minutes, but what happened as the playoffs went along? That team got stronger as the third quarter went along, the fourth quarter went along. So I think there's something to that. And to your point about a Harrison Barnes, I think the NBA or a front office would argue, well, we're not asking for the same output from Harrison Barnes that we're asking from Victor Wembanyama or from Anthony Edwards, right? He's not touching the ball, shooting 30 shots a night. And I think even with that argument, it's still a little bit overboard.
Here's the biggest issue that I see, and I'm going to keep it to basketball because that's what I'm most familiar with, is there are too many individuals on the training staff. And by training staff, I'm not talking about the head trainer and the assistant trainer, which, by the way, I know the head trainer of the Sacramento Kings, and he does an excellent job. The surrounding people, there are too many voices in the room. That's also an issue. In my opinion, it is an absolute waste of money what the staff entails. It's too many people, and in my experience, not enough people on the same page. Because when you bring in individuals that are part of the physical evaluation of players, training regimen, etc., there are different philosophies, different voices, different opinions, and I think it's too much. And if I were the owner of a team, I would hire a very, in terms of volume now, in individuals, it would be less and not more. I would hire people that I am extremely confident with, whose resumes speak for themselves, and I would let them do their job based on their expertise, without bringing in all of these others from the outside, which is what, in this case, the Kings did, that interfered with what was working. Okay, that's how I would run it. But again, I'm not the owner. I'm a broadcaster. But that's how I would do it. There are too many people, okay, part of the overall, if I can use the term medical staff, training staff, call it whatever you want. There are too many people, in my opinion. Just too many people. It's
Well,
ridiculous.
And the cat's out of the bag. Now with AI and how it's been utilized, this isn't like a trend in the NBA with three-point shooting or, using a true center. This is going to continue down the path. It's only going to intensify.
Yep, it sure is. Hey, folks, I've been telling you about DAS Mechanicals Winter Furnace Tune-Up for only $69 through the end of November. Let me tell you something else about DAS. Are you considering renovating or retrofitting your home in the coming year? Because a lot of people don't do that as we get ready to start the holidays. You're going to look towards early 2026, right? Well, you need to plan ahead. And if you contact DAS Mechanical, Nick Delancey, the owner, and a family-owned business, they've got years of retrofitting experience. And his crews, they are specialists for residential and commercial properties. And next year's right around the corner. Plan ahead. Get in touch with DAS Mechanical. Go online, dasmechanical.org, and check out their numerous 5-star reviews and their many best of the best awards. That tells you a lot right there. Those 5-star reviews and the best of the best awards, you better believe it. Trust me when I say that Nick and DAS, they are awesome. All right? Talking about DAS Mechanical, retrofitting Sacramento and Placer counties for years. Go to dasmechanical.org. D as in dog, A, S as in Sam, mechanical.org. You can book everything online. And again, spend a moment to read their reviews and their numerous best of the best awards. Don't forget, we're going to talk some baseball coming up from a different perspective, from an umpire's perspective, a guy that was behind home plate for Game 5 of the World Series just 2 seasons ago. That's Brian Knight. He'll be coming on at 4 o'clock. All right? So then we're also going to talk some more NBA. We'll peek in on the new week of the NFL, which starts tomorrow. So we've got all of that, plus your phone calls at 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929. Kings and Bulls tonight from the Windy City. 3 games in 4 nights for Sacramento. And we will have to wait and see if they can play more consistently. And that's the word I'm going to use, Rhino, consistently. We've seen this team play good stretches of basketball and bad stretches of basketball within the same 48-minute period. So I'm looking for some more consistency.
Yeah, it sure would be nice to see him put it together for 48 minutes.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to see it tonight because generally speaking, if you're going to look at the recent history of the Kings in 3 games and 4 nights, it's been horrible. And they're an older team, okay, when you think about their players that are playing the most minutes, they're older. And, listen, we saw it last night. Oklahoma City, Rhino, they didn't play well last night, Oklahoma City. No. They played well in the final 3 to 5 minutes, but they didn't play well leading up to that game. They were very ragged. They were missing layups. They were not shooting the ball well from distance. They were making unforced turnovers. They didn't play very well last night.
No, but they're good enough to only play well for 6 to 8 minutes and beat you. And that's what you saw last night. And I thought Doug Christie had a really good game plan right out of the gate. Now, granted, it was a fairly obvious one that you want to run and get those guys tired and let them shoot threes. But the zone defense was fairly effective, Grant. I don't know how much zone you can throw at Chicago. They are number 1 across the board in 3-point shooting.
Yeah, I don't think you can play much of a zone tonight. You could play, as you said, a zone defense against a team that through the early part of this season has not shot the well from 3. They didn't shoot the ball well 2 nights ago in Dallas. I'm talking about the Thunder. And then last night, they didn't shoot the ball well at all from 3 until they had to at the end of the game. And they made some critical 3-point baskets. But yeah, I'm tonight, and keep your eye on Kevin Huerter. Boy, you saw what he did last year in Sacramento when the Bulls came in and were shorthanded and beat the Kings. So we'll see. Bulls off to a good start, feeling good at 3-0. Wins already against Detroit, Orlando, and Atlanta, 3 teams that are projected to be ahead of them. And how about your, I shouldn't say yours, but BJ Edgecombe and the 76ers off to a 4-0 start in the East? How about that?
I'm not sure many teams had that, or anybody had them off to 4-0, and Embiid logging some minutes as well. The big comeback for them last night. Maxey leading the league in scoring right now, another 39-point night.
And I would also say that it's good for the NBA to have Embiid on the floor and off the floor. I mean, he's one of those attention grabbers. So I think it's not only good for Philadelphia, Rhino, I think it's good for the NBA to have Embiid available and playing the way he is. When you look at the East right now, it's very interesting because Philly's 4-0, Chicago's 3-0, and then Miami, Cleveland, and Milwaukee are all 3-1. And Sacramento plays Milwaukee coming up on, Saturday, after the Bucks play Golden State before that, and then a day off. So busy schedule coming up, obviously, early in the season. A lot of games. Don't forget Brian Knight, MLB Ump, is coming up next. I've got Grant's Rant at 5 o'clock. More of your phone calls at 916-779-0929. Someone said from the 916, I couldn't agree more. Too many cooks in the kitchen when it comes to personal trainers for players. I don't think there's any doubt about that. But the horse is out of the barn, so to speak. That's for sure. Second hour of the show, and Brian Knight, MLB Ump, next here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Fox Sports traffic as we take another look at the roadways. Still very busy throughout the Sacramento area, especially on Cap City Freeway. Still trying to clean up that earlier problem at Watt Avenue, US 50 on the eastbound side, right off to the shoulder of 59th Street. You're going to find that earlier accident still trying to be wrapped up, and starting to see some heavy rush hour delays throughout the entire area as well. So give yourself some extra time as you head out of the office and head home. With twice an hour traffic, I'm Andy Bass for Fox Sports Sacramento.
The holidays can be a time of increased stress for those struggling with opioid or stimulant addiction. They can also be a time for pause, reflection, opportunity, and new beginnings. This holiday season, choose treatment and recovery. Embrace the company of family and friends, and create special moments. Find a proven opioid or stimulant addiction treatment provider near you at choosechangeca.org.
Looking for the perfect spot to watch the game and enjoy amazing food and drinks? Look no further than Fieldhouse American Sports Pub. Family owned and operated, Fieldhouse is passionate about creating a fun, welcoming atmosphere for everyone. Spice things up on Tuesdays with Taco Tuesday. Buy any order of our delicious tacos and get a refreshing margarita for just $6. On Wednesday, Fieldhouse features incredible drink specials. Enjoy $5 well drinks and ice cold pints all day long. Fieldhouse was voted the #1 sports bar in Sacramento. Tons of TVs, a mouth-watering menu, and daily specials. It's the perfect sports bar to catch all the action. Visit us today at 1833 Fulton Avenue. Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, where the food is fantastic, the drinks are flowing, and the good times never stop. Fieldhouse, bring it to the house.
The NBA season tips off, and so does DraftKings' newest fantasy game. It's the easiest way to play for big wins. Here's how to play. Just pick more or less on 2 or more stats and unlock the upside every game brings. The better your picks, the bigger your payout. Pick 6 is available in your state, plus new DraftKings customers get $50 in bonus picks with just a $5 entry on your first pick set. Don't just watch basketball, cash in. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code KSAC. That's code KSAC. Play just $5, get $50 in Pick 6 bonus picks. Make the call, ride the upside in partnership with DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus awarded is non-withdrawable. Pick 6 bonus picks that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos. That's pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
The voice of Sacramento sports is back.
Hear Grant Napear every weekday beginning at 3 right here. KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst, K284 CM 104.7 FM Sacramento.
Hour number 2, and about an hour away from a pivotal Game 5 in the World Series. And it's a pleasure to talk about a different perspective of baseball. My next guest began his MLB umpiring career in 2001. He was behind the plate for Game 5 of the 2023 World Series. He's worked 2 World Baseball Classics in 2006 and 2023. He made his MLB umpiring debut back in 2001. It is an absolute pleasure to welcome Brian Knight to the show. What's up, buddy? How are you?
Hey, Grant. How you doing, my friend?
I am doing well, better than you if you had been behind home plate in Game 3 for 6 hours and 39 minutes and a total of 609 pitches. I mean, can you try to put in perspective, you have had a long career, the longest game you were behind home plate and the difficulty of that because you don't get a chance to sit down every half inning.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact longest game I ever worked. I think I got up to maybe 14 or 15 innings, back before we had the ghost runner situation, which, we have enjoyed for the last couple of years. I did work, the Giants had a playoff game against the Nationals in 2014. That game went 18 innings also. I was in left field for that game. And strangely, that game was actually shorter than the game the other night, which is kind of hard to believe given we have the pitch clock now. But even working left field in a game like that, we walked on the field at 7 o'clock and it was 65 degrees, not knowing we were going to go almost 7 hours, freezing my butt off by the 17th inning and in desperate need of a bathroom. So that's my memory of that game. But
the challenge is, and I'm not asking you or anyone else to feel sorry for Mark Wegner, but the challenges of being behind the plate for that long are what?
Maintaining the concentration that you need to have to work that kind of game for that long is probably damn near impossible. Literally, they are focused with 2-minute breaks in between innings to kind of regather yourself, but knowing that the pressure cooker of the World Series, which really is a global pressure cooker, trying to ignore all that and focus on one pitch at a time. It's a very difficult thing to do. But that's why we work, you don't get to that position to work those kind of games until you've had thousands of games under your belt, not only in the minor leagues, but in the major leagues. And so the guys are prepared for these kind of games.
What about from a physical perspective? As the game goes on, crouching, you're not crouching as low as a catcher, but is that physically demanding or not a big deal?
Well, you know me, I always got hit. So for me, it was tough. But no, I think there's so much adrenaline in those kind of games that you kind of don't feel that until the next day. So it's not a situation where you're out there dwelling on, oh my God, how tired am I? Your adrenaline on that stage kind of propels you through the rest of the game.
Brian, speaking of getting hit, it's probably the reason why you're on with me right now on Fox Sports Sacramento instead of maybe being on the umpiring crew for this World Series. You had to retire due to injuries. The beating that umpires take behind the plate, and you in particular, but there's a long list of umpires that have had to retire early. How many times do you think you got hit on the head that resulted in a concussion? I know you've had a neck issue, but the beating that an umpire can take, and in your case did take behind the plate, is significant.
Yeah, I would have to approximate how many times over the course of what amounted to a 30-year career, but even if it was 4 or 5 times a year, we're talking big numbers. So actual diagnosed concussions, I probably had 5 or 6 of those, but they didn't start really paying attention to that stuff until early in the 2000s. And so, my career in the minor leagues, it could have been, I could have taken 100 of them. I'm not really sure, but
well, that explains to me your problems that I've encountered being around you on the golf course and everything. Now I get it. So thank you for explaining that.
Yeah, that's my excuse.
Oh my
gosh.
gosh.
Now I took enough foul tips to where it caused a lot of problems in my neck, and I had to have
Hmm.
neck surgery back in 2017, and was hoping to get a few more years out of it, and I was able to do that with the help of great physical therapy and a good medical staff with MLB. So was able to finish up and end up getting the World Series at the end. So it worked out really good for me.
We're talking with former MLB ump, he just retired, Brian Knight. During the course of your tenure as a Major League Baseball umpire, you went from no replay to replay. How do umpires feel about the replay system?
You know, I've been thinking a lot about that, and watching the games this postseason in particular, since I have more time to sit down and watch them. You know, there must have been so far in this World Series 7 or 8 challenges on the bases, and probably 2 or 3 overturns maybe. And it had me thinking, in the history of baseball, if they went back and reviewed every play from every World Series going back to the 1800s, how many calls would they have had to overturn? And so with the way technology is now, I think the vast majority of us are very grateful to have the ability to get a call right on the field. I know what it's like to miss a call and not having the ability to fix it, and having a whole fan base hate me, having a whole team hate me, not just for like a little bit either. This would carry on. And so imagine working first base, missing an important call in a game. Everybody's mad at you. The whole city's talking about it. Now you go back behind the plate the next day with a target on your back. The team's out to get you. The fans are out to get you. And it helped me become a better umpire back in those days. You know, we kind of call it going through the battles that young umpires today don't really have to go through. And you see how close some of these plays are. I mean, that play at first base last night was millimeters, not inches. So
Yeah, by an eyelash. What do you think?
yeah. So
Yeah.
go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was going to say, overall, the guys are very thankful that we can get everything right. So
What do you think is the biggest misconception that most fans have regarding Major League Baseball umpires or officials in general?
that's a great question. And there's a huge divide between how we operate and how we get portrayed in the media sometimes. I think there's a big, vast chasm between how we operate and how we feel about this profession and how it's portrayed, not only by the media, especially a certain local NBA broadcast, but the fans, the social media. I think if people sat down with us and talked to us, you know, you hear the word accountability a lot. Where's the accountability? The accountability is we work our way through the minor leagues for sometimes 10 or 12 years. In my case, it was 16. We get to the big leagues. We take it very seriously. We work very hard on our craft. We work on our knowledge of the rules. We're constantly trying to get better, and replay has helped us get better and seeing how certain plays kind of develop. And I just don't think people realize how much we actually put into it and how much we care. You know, every time I worked a game in the big leagues, especially home plate, I would work that game 3 or 4 times in my head before I ever took the field. And so mistakes are going to happen. You know, if you watch these playoffs, you'll see the ump cam behind home plate. And that gives people a real good perspective of what we're actually seeing back there. These are balls going 98 miles an hour. And we're talking about, again, centimeters and having to make a split-second decision. I don't think people realize how difficult the job is. And I don't think sports officials in general get enough credit for the way they handle not only the plays and the pitches, but the emotions of the game on the field. You got to be able to manage personalities. You got to be able to know how to handle difficult situations. And, you know, this notion that a lot of fans probably think that they just kind of pull the umpires or the referees out of their day jobs to come work the game that night. It couldn't be further from the truth.
Are there times when you're behind the plate calling balls and strikes that you don't see the pitch because of a catcher maybe jumping up to get ready to throw a runner that's dealing from first to second or second to third and you are blocked out? And if that situation occurs, how do you call that?
That's where your instincts kick in. And a lot of times when that happens, you got to guess, because like in the situation that you described, runner stealing, catchers popping up, he's going to block your view naturally. Sometimes you just got to make an educated guess. And sometimes that guess is right and sometimes that guess is wrong, but we certainly don't have x-ray vision to see through the back of a catcher. So those thankfully don't happen too often. And I think the system next year will fix a lot of those when they put ABS on in the regular season next year. But it's a helpless feeling sometimes when you get blocked out, for sure. But yeah, I'd say, you know, you got to trust your instincts. You've seen enough pitches. You've seen it happen enough times where you kind of have a gut instinct of what may have happened. So,
thanks to you, I've met many of your colleagues that umpire MLB games. I also know many NBA refs that I'm still in contact with. I know some football officials, and I know, believe it or not, some NHL referees. And here's what I think is the biggest misconception, in addition to what you said, which is spot on, is I know this to be true, but I don't think fans want to acknowledge this. When you miss a call that cannot be changed due to replay or happened before replay was implemented, you have trouble sleeping at night and it stays with you and it eats at you. And I've not met an official in any sport that told me differently. And I think that there are too many fans that think that when a call is missed, that in some cases, let's call it the way it is, decides the game, that the official just goes on and goes home or goes to the airport and flies to the next game, and it's not a big deal. That could not be further from the truth.
No, and one of the hardest parts of the job, I've been retired since August 1st, and the only calls that I can remember real vividly from my career, aside from a few good ones, are all the bad ones. So they not only eat at you for a day or two, that sometimes can carry on for your life. I met, there's a former National League umpire named Jim Quick who lives here in the Sacramento area, and I met him for coffee a couple of weeks ago, and he's 81 years old and he's been retired for a very long time. He retired a couple of years before I came on, so I never got a chance to work with him or meet him. So it was a real treat to sit down and talk to him. And I asked him that very question, like, what do you think about when you sit around as an 81-year-old and you reflect on your career? And he said, I only think about the calls that I screwed up.
Wow.
And so we take a lot of pride in what we do. And umpiring can be a very painful profession emotionally, because the last thing we want to do is screw a big call up. And I can think of a few in my past that will definitely stick with me for the rest of my life, for sure.
Brian, when I grew up, I saw the Earl Weavers of the world go head to head and like turn their caps around and face to face with the Ron Lucianos of the world and the Ken Kaisers and Lou Piniella, you know, going out and having his tirades and kicking dirt, and umpires watching managers come out and pick up bases and throw them across the diamond. That's really been eliminated a lot due to replay, correct? Has the, I guess, the arguments, did they diminish drastically once replay came in? Because instead of coming out and arguing, they just, you know, said we need to go to replay. How has that changed your perspective in dealing with managers?
Yeah, it's once instant replay took a hold, that pretty much disappeared. I mean, you're still going to have the occasional argument over an obstruction or an interference call, or if something goofy happens, which, you know, maybe happens once a season, but the day-to-day coming out to argue a play at first base completely disappeared, or second base or whatever. So what happened is all the arguing went to balls and strikes. And so 90%, 99% of all the confrontations and injections currently are over the strike zone and check swings. And so I'm wondering what's going to happen next year when that argument gets taken away.
Yeah.
Because
What do you think of that? What do you think
baseball-
of the new system that's coming into baseball behind the plate for balls and strikes? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think they're going to do a good, thoughtful job of implementing it. I was a little bit involved of training our guys this year when they were going to implement it in spring training. I was on a union committee that dealt with that. And our guys are going to be prepared. Baseball's going to roll it out sensibly. You know, they're very smart with how they do all this stuff. They've done all the testing. The one thing I think is going to be strange for casual fans is the ball that gets butchered down to the ground that will be challenged by the catcher and be called a strike. It's going to be visually a little different. And you also have to remember they're going to measure each player prior to the season starting, and they're going to measure them standing straight up without their cleats on. And that's how they're going to determine that particular player's top of his strike zone and the bottom of his strike zone. Well, when a player like Bryce Harper or Juan Soto is up to bat, they have really low swings. They really bend their knees when they're going into their swing. There's going to be pitches called strikes via challenge that will have appeared to cross near their chins.
Wow.
Because in the motion of their swing, they get so low, but their measurements are from when they're standing straight up. So I think if there's any kinks to be worked out, they will do a good job of working them out. I think there'll be some growing pains early, teams trying to decide when to challenge, who to let challenge. A lot of the people that I've talked to aren't going to even allow pitchers to challenge because the catchers have so much of a better idea of what actually happened on the pitch than the pitcher might be kind of working on emotions. And so it'll be really interesting to see how it plays out.
All right. So before I go, give me the number one argument, and I'm sure it happened before replay was implemented. You did your first game in 2001, so you've got many, 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 many games under your belt. Is there one instance with a manager that sticks out above the rest in terms of an argument?
The one that always sticks out was I was working first base in Atlanta at the old Fulton County Stadium, and it was the fourth game of a 4-game series, and everything had gone great. I was still AAA umpire working in the big leagues, so I was a part-time, basically. Had my plate job, worked third, worked second, got to first base in the day game, had a really close call in the 9th inning, called the Atlanta runner out, and Bobby Cox comes out, and you can kind of see it coming because he takes his hat off, and the first thing he does is fire it to the ground, and that's him telling me he wants me to eject him. So I eject him, and he says to me, "Brian, are you a big league umpire?" And I kind of bowed up, and I said, "Yeah, you're damn right I am." And he says, "Well, not on the bases, you aren't." Which means he thought I had a good plate job, I guess. Yeah.
Not on the bases, you're not. I don't have the numbers in front of me. I wonder how many games during his managerial career that Bobby Cox was ejected from. I'm sure it's many, 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 many times. Oh,
hey, I
that's
wore it
great.
as a badge of honor as a young 26-year-old umpire, kind of making my way in the big leagues. That was a kind of a cool thing. And we still don't know if I got the call right or not because there was no high definition cameras back then. So,
well, you never had an experience where you had to eject an umpire on a doubleheader twice before either game started, and that was the case with Earl Weaver, who got ejected. He got ejected at home plate, exchanging the lineup cards. Now that's when you know something's going on, right?
yeah, they don't really make them like that anymore. I don't think you're going to see anything like that tonight.
Brian, great stuff. Really enjoyed having you on. Tremendous insight. Appreciate it.
Hey, before you let me go, I got to say the best sports move of the year for Sacramento wasn't the Kings picking up Westbrook. It was Fox picking up you. I'm very happy for you, man. It's great to have you back.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. Brian Knight, good stuff right here on Fox Sports Sacramento. We'll open up the phone lines at 916-779-0929. That's 779-0929. Grant Napear, Fox Sports, Sacramento.
Fox Sports traffic as we take another look at the roadways. We're still very busy throughout the entire area. Accident on Highway 99 northbound at Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. 2 left lanes are blocked off in that accident scene. Stop and go traffic from Stockton Boulevard up to there, so watch out for that. US 50 eastbound of 59th Street. That earlier accident still off to the right shoulder. You still got delays backed up to the I-80 interchange, so give yourself that extra time to work your way through there. With twice an hour traffic, I'm Andy Bass for Fox Sports Sacramento.
Need new tires? Now through November 30th, save $100 instantly when you buy a set of 4 Bridgestone Weatherpeak tires. Save $70 instantly when you buy a set of 4 eligible Bridgestone tires, or buy a set of 4 eligible Firestone tires and save $60 instantly. Only at Express Tires. Express Tires, 7215 Watt Avenue. Offer valid November 1st through November 30th, 2025. Cannot be combined with other offers. See store for details.
The statewide special election is November 4th. All voters will receive a ballot in the mail and have several options to return their ballot conveniently, including a postage-paid envelope. You can also vote in person at any vote center and have access to your ballot in an accessible format, as well as receive assistance in multiple languages. Be sure to vote early and avoid the lines. Learn more at elections.saccounty.gov or call toll-free 1-800-762-8019.
Hey, it's Grant Napear for DAS Mechanical, HVAC retrofit and service specialist. Family owned and operated since 2018, serving Sacramento and Placer counties. And yeah, the weather's going to turn soon, and it's going to start getting chilly. And when you need that heater to work, you don't want to be Mr. or Mrs. Uh-oh. You need to make sure that you're good to go. Well, right now at DAS Mechanical, they have a $69 winter maintenance check. That's right. Only $69 through the end of November. Take advantage of that by going to dasmechanical.org. That's D as in dog, A, S as in Sam, mechanical.org. You can schedule everything online and make sure you look at their 5-star reviews and their numerous Best of the Best awards. Homeowners, business for commercial maintenance, it's all there for you. DAS Mechanical. That's dasmechanical.org. Take advantage of that $69 special now.
Ready to turn your idle equipment into cash? Purple Wave Auction is your solution. We specialize in no-reserve online auctions, bringing nationwide buyers to your doorstep. From excavators to dozers, we'll market your assets to a vast audience of eager buyers. No hauling required. We photograph and list your equipment where it sits. Experience our transparent and simple process with expert support. Join successful sellers who trust Purple Wave. Visit purplewave.com today to learn how easy selling can be.
Good stuff with Brian Knight. This from the 209. What a great interview and insight with Brian. Appreciate that. Here's my biggest complaint after announcing for decades in a variety of sports is it bothers me. It didn't used to bother me 20 and 30 years ago, but it bothers me more today. And I think the reason for that is I think we in society are more opinionated than ever before. And I think social media has a lot to do with that. And with opinions comes criticism. And I have found that announcers particularly, I think, have gone overboard with their criticism of officials. And listen, as I said, I know officials in every sport. And officials are okay when you criticize them if you are right. All right? They're big boys and girls. They get it. If they make a mistake and it's proven that their mistake was indeed the wrong call, they're okay to be criticized. That comes with the territory. If you don't want to be criticized, then don't go into the profession, especially an official. I mean, if you have thin skin, you're in the wrong business. So I've talked to many officials about, hey, if we make a call and it's the wrong call and it's proven to be the wrong call, I mean, we're fine with you pointing that out. We're fine with the criticism. What bothers officials more than anything are the announcers who criticize the officials and then are wrong after seeing a replay and don't acknowledge that they're wrong after seeing a replay. That's a big no-no in the profession. And if you want to lose respect, okay, from an official, criticize them. And then upon learning that they were right and you were wrong, and you don't make amends on the air, you're going to lose the respect of officials greatly. And if you don't think that matters, I've always said this. When you work in a league, regardless of whether you're a coach, a player, a broadcaster, a strength coach, the head of analytics, whatever the case may be, you work in the bubble of that league, right? So if I work in the NBA, and I did for 32 years, even though the NBA did not pay me, I feel that it is my responsibility and my duty to make the league better, because we're all working together, because at the end of the day, we're all going to prosper if the league prospers. So I've always took the notion that you cannot lose the focus on the big picture. Did I ever criticize officials? Sure, I criticized officials. Of course I did. But I also was not afraid to say I'm wrong when I'm wrong. And I've always told this story of years ago, working a game at Madison Square Garden. Corliss Williamson at the time was playing for the Kings. And at the end of the game, at the basket to my left, one of the most respected officials in the league, Dan Crawford, made a call that I got wrong. It was the very last call of the game. And I thought they called a foul on Corliss Williamson. And I said that was not a foul and it was a terrible call. And we wrapped up the game and went to the post game. Now, I don't know what it's like now, but back then, when you broke for a commercial at the end of the game on NBA League Pass, that's it. The telecast did not continue for anyone to see. Well, during the commercial break, before I came back on with Jerry to do our post-game show, I realized that I got the call wrong for a variety of reasons. It doesn't really matter what the reasons were, but I'll tell you what they were. Number one, the call that Dan made was for an illegal screen out of bounds. I didn't realize that Corliss Williamson was beyond the baseline. That's number one. Number two, at Madison Square Garden, we are opposite the scorer's table. What does that mean? It means that when an official goes to make the call to the scorer's table, their back is towards me. And if our camera is not focused on the official making a call, I have no way of seeing it, and I'm guessing. So based on what I saw and based on the replay, I talked about what a bad call it was. During the commercial break, I realized I was wrong and that Danny Crawford was right. And I came on, I said, hey, welcome back to Madison Square Garden. Jerry, before we get to you, I just want to say that I got the call wrong. Dan Crawford was right. That was an illegal screen that Dan Crawford called, not a foul. And as you can see on the replay, Jerry, Danny Crawford was accurate because Corliss set the screen and he was out of bounds, which is illegal, therefore the whistle. And I said, so I apologize to Dan Crawford. I get on the airplane at Newark. It was a day game. Okay, it was a day game, and I can't even remember where we're flying to. And I get a call, first time I ever received a call from anyone in the NBA, from a league, a high-ranking individual with the NBA. And before they could even finish, I said, hey, I know why you're calling me. I know I got it wrong, and I want to let you know you may not have seen this. At the end of the game, when we came back on the post game, the first thing I did was I said I got it wrong, and I apologized on the air that I got it wrong, and I said Dan Crawford got it right. So I had the phone call with this individual. I said, I get it. I understand. Thank you for the call. I deserve the call, blah, blah, blah. So about 3 weeks later, we're playing a game, and Dan Crawford's on the crew. And he comes out onto the court 15 minutes before the game, and I walk up to him. I go, Danny, how are you? I go, Danny, I need to talk to you. He goes, what's up, Grant? I go, I owe you an apology. I said, the Knicks game, I said, I explained the whole story. And he looked at me and he goes, Grant, I really appreciate you coming over and saying that, but you're all good with me and you're all good with the guys. And so thank you, but you're all good with us. And I'm like, hey, Danny, thank you very much. And I just think it's so important when you're working together, really under one umbrella. And you can say whatever you want, but we all work under one umbrella. And I don't feel that that happens in Major League Baseball. I don't think it happens enough in the NBA. I think there are too many analysts that criticize officials that when they're wrong or for whatever reason, they don't want to apologize and they're too critical of the officials and it becomes just too much. And I think it really taints their credibility. And I see the same thing in baseball. And the difference between baseball and basketball is when you do basketball, you have interaction with the officials all the time because of your proximity to the court, both before the game and during the game. In baseball, you're never near the umpires if you're an announcer. You can go your whole career and not run into a major league umpire. I mean, if you really want to look at it, you could literally go your entire career and not have any interaction with a major league umpire. Personally, I know many of the NBA refs, know them where I have their phone numbers and where I still message them and still communicate with them. And I had great respect for the officials, even the ones that I didn't think were very good. And I always tried to do my job professionally. So, like, I think we've gotten carried away in the sports broadcasting world because of now opinions. You know, don't ever be afraid to say, I got it wrong. Don't ever be afraid to say, you know what? Look at a replay. And I think Jerry did that. And I don't want to brag, but I think we did that as well as any crew in the NBA. And I took great comfort, and I really mean this, that officials used to come up to me and Jerry all the time, really, before the game and say, hey, I just want to come up and say, you guys do a great job, and we appreciate how fair you are to us. And the word they used was fair. And they would all say, we're fine if you criticize us when we're wrong, but you guys aren't afraid to tell everyone when you're wrong. And we really appreciate that. So I've always taken great pride in that. By the way, Keon Ellis has been made available for the Sacramento Kings tonight. So they will be with only, they'll be missing, I shouldn't say only, no Keegan Murray and no Nick Clifford. Kings and Bulls tonight. Don't forget to join us over on YouTube on the postgame show. Ryan, you know what I'm talking about, right? Where you watch a game and an announcer is very, very critical of an official, and then the replay comes on, and you can see that the official made the call correctly, and the broadcaster was very critical. Very often will just gloss over it and not mention it and just go on to something else. That bothers me. I don't like that.
Or they'll double down on their point of why they think it's still wrong.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where if it becomes too frequent, then it really hurts the credibility, number one, for the fans of that broadcaster. But two, it just becomes really annoying.
It does become annoying. And it to me, it's a turnoff as a viewer. And maybe I have a different perspective because I have so many friends now that are sports officials in all the leagues, and I know what they go through. And I've also been privy to going to the NBA training camp in New York every year and talking to the refs one-on-one. And I think that's so important. Communication is so important. And I just think that when you are able to talk to an official and get to know what their routine is and how hard they work, like NBA officials, like people think they just show up. They don't just show up, okay? I mean, I've seen officials at a breakfast meeting, you know, at 8 a.m. before, all right, the three of them with sheets of paper in their hands, going over everything, all right? They're reviewing video, all right, during the day. They are reviewing video as soon as the game is over. Same thing with baseball. You know that every major league umpire gets sent to them their grade the next day of how many pitches they got right, the ones they missed. And if you miss a pitch, and it's very rare that a major league umpire would get a 100% score. It has happened, but it doesn't happen frequently. They might miss 3 pitches, 5 pitches, whatever the case may be. They get sent a video in so many different angles, both in real time and in 3D, with lines drawn through the ball and the plate and the strike zone. It's incredible. I've seen it before. It is so elaborate so that the umpires are made aware of the pitches that they got wrong and where they were in relation to the strike zone. It's extremely thorough. The same thing in the NBA. They get graded on every single play and every call they make and every call they don't make. And there's an immense amount of time that is spent looking at games. And here's the other issue that a lot of broadcasters, for whatever reason, don't know or don't want to know. The NBA refs watch all of the games. And when they're not working, they're watching games on League Pass. So I would have announcers, and I'm not bragging because I don't really care. I don't have to brag. They would come up to me, hey, man, you do a great job. I love watching you. You and Jerry are great, blah, 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 whatever. We're human beings. You would want to be complimented rather than being torn down. So I'm not saying this to make a point about.
Grant, you two are one of the best in the NBA locally.
But
that.
You know what? Thank you for that. But here's the deal. I think we were as fair as any broadcast team, and we didn't have a problem saying we were wrong. The official got it right. And the officials really, really respect that. And they see everything and they hear everything.
They keep receipts. And speaking of that, is that person at the NBA still have a job that makes that phone call that you got?
Yeah, they still have a job. Yeah. Right. Yeah. They're one of the highest ranking folks in the entire NBA now.
They still making those calls?
I would say probably three or four on the list, huh?
Are they still making those calls?
I haven't gotten a call because I haven't worked the game in 5 years.
Well, I get that. I'm just curious if they're still making those calls. I mean, sure, there's more than enough announcers getting calls.
If so. I would think if they are making calls, I know someone that's getting one. All right. Hey, I want to talk to you about DAS Mechanical. You've heard me talk about their $69 winter furnace checkup. That's right. Through November, $69. So you know that you're good to go. This winter. Family owned and operated since 2018 is DAS Mechanical. And we talk about retrofitting and service specialists. Maybe you're doing a remodel on your home, upgrading, whatever the case may be. And a lot of people don't want to do it during the holidays, which, believe it or not, are going to be starting real soon. If you're thinking about maybe early next year, now's the time to plan and get in contact with DAS Mechanical by going to dasmechanical.org because they are specialists when it comes to HVAC retrofit and service. They do so many different new systems, homeowners, businesses for commercial maintenance. And if you should get a new system, remember there are rebates up to $6,000, including a $2,000 federal tax credit, but that is due to expire at the end of this year. So keep that in mind. Financing options, including 0% interest for 18 months. Go to dasmechanical.org, D as in dog, A, S as in Sam, mechanical.org. Hey, spend a moment or two and check out all of their 5-star reviews and their numerous Best of the Best awards. Schedule online at dasmechanical.org. 916-779-0929 to call or text when we come back on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Ready to turn your idle equipment into cash? Purple Wave Auction is your solution. We specialize in no-reserve online auctions, bringing nationwide buyers to your doorstep. From excavators to dozers, we'll market your assets to a vast audience of eager buyers. No hauling required. We photograph and list your equipment where it sits. Experience our transparent and simple process with expert support. Join successful sellers who trust Purple Wave. Visit purplewave.com today to learn how easy selling can be.
The holidays can be a time of increased stress for those struggling with opioid or stimulant use disorder. Complex family dynamics, financial strain, and cultural expectations can weigh heavily and become a tipping point for those battling the physical and mental effects of addiction. But the holidays can also be a time for pause, reflection, opportunity, and new beginnings. They're a chance to take stock of what we have and are thankful for, to remember what's most important to us, and to consider what we can change. The holidays are a time of hope. So this holiday season, choose treatment and recovery. Embrace the support and company of family and friends, and create special moments. Get started by finding a proven opioid or stimulant addiction treatment provider near you at choosechangeca.org. Find a proven treatment option that's right for you. Recover you at choosechangeca.org. That's choosechangeca.org.
Looking for the ultimate night out? Welcome to HQ Showgirls, Sacramento's premier adult gentlemen's club. We're the only topless club between Reno and San Francisco serving alcohol, beer, wine, and champagne. All inside over 6,000 square feet of pure excitement. Planning a party or a VIP night? Call our VIP manager now at 916-389-0199 to book your table. Come experience the energy at HQ Showgirls, 851 Richards Boulevard, Sacramento. Open 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. Sunday through Thursday and until 4 a.m. Friday and Saturday. Visit hqnightclub.com, where the night begins and never stops.
Hey, it's Grant Napear for Village Financial Group. I have known broker owner Spencer Grimmenstein for 25 years, ever since he began his family-owned business. Whether it's a home equity line of credit or buying or selling a home, Spencer is a very creative financing specialist with access to private money. Check out Village Financial Group at bfgloans.com or call Spencer at 916-805-4868. Be sure and call for the investor special. And if you go to their website, bfgloans.com, you can find over 9,000 properties available for purchase. Folks, Spencer is awesome. Trust me. Again, I've known the guy since 2000. It makes sense to call Spence at 916-805-4868. Village Financial Group, looking out for your best interest. Call 916-805-4868. Kings and Bulls tip off in about 30 minutes. Don't forget to join us right after the game over on YouTube and X, YouTube channel if you don't like that. Yes, indeed. Jerry Reynolds, Rhino, myself, after the game with the post-game show, the Kings and the Bulls. Let's talk about this game for a couple of minutes. Rhino, what do you think are some of the keys?
I think first off, you cannot let Modest Buzelis get going. He is a really good young player. He can get you on the outside. He can get you on the inside. And my second key, besides defending the three-point line, is the Kings need to outscore the Bulls bench. The Bulls have a pretty darn good bench. They can fill it up. You need to get a lot of production from them tonight, Grant. How about
the
you?
Kings are starting Russell Westbrook for the second game in a row with DeRozan, Sabonis, Levine, and Schroeder. I'll tell you in a moment what I think the real key is. Chicago still without Zach Collins for a while and without Kobe White, which is, you know, I you and I love him. We love him. We love the way he plays. So, yeah, this is a team that is a completely different type of a team than you played 24 hours ago. I mean, obviously they're not as good, first and foremost, but their backcourt of Trey Jones and Josh Giddey, I think, can be a real concern. And I'm with you on their early three-point shooting. So what we talked about last night was a good start, and I really thought the Kings had a good start last night. I think they should have had a bigger lead, though, going into intermission. They were up by, I think, 4. I think they should have been up by double digits. I think they let OKC off the hook. But I'm a little worried about the first quarter tonight against the Bulls team that's feeling really good, 3 good wins, a Kings team that could be tired. And we've seen the Kings have some real duds playing 3 games in 4 nights, Ryan.
Yeah.
So that does concern me a little bit.
No, certainly it should. And they like to share the ball. They're going to make you work. They're 5th in the NBA in assists. So if I'm the Kings, maybe, just maybe, I throw in some zone defense to slow them down a little bit. They are the best at defending the three-point line as well. So this is not a game where you want to settle for a Schroeder 3, a Westbrook 3. You got to get downhill. I think what Jerry said last night to Grant was key. We need more pick and rolls. Get Malik going, get Sabonis going.
I think the Sabonis-Vucevic matchup is a really interesting one to watch. You were talking about the first player. I don't know if we pronounced his name right.
Buzelis.
Yeah, Buzelis. So he's from the NBA G League Ignite.
Yes.
So, which is interesting. You know, we always talk about that. I know you are much more into that than me. And one of the reasons for that was you went to a lot of Stockton Kings games and you're more dialed into the G League than I am. But it's interesting because I don't know a lot about this individual.
Yeah, he, for those that don't know, the G League Ignite, it's a team of straight from high school players that don't want to go to college. He is really one of those European slashers who can also fill it up from beyond the arc. He kind of looks like a Mike Dunleavy to a degree on the court, and he is sneaky athletic too. So you've got to get a body on him because he can get and play above the rim.
Okay, so when we're on the post-game show tonight, will the number one factor be three-point shooting, both for and against? Will you look at that as the number one statistic for Sacramento? Because I'm looking at that, and I'm looking at, as we've always talked about, and it has not been good, and I think that's one of the reasons why Sacramento is only 1-3, is the assist-to-turnover ratio. It's not been good.
Yes, and I'm also looking at transition and points off of turnovers. The Bulls are the worst in the league at taking care of the basketball. So to me, this is where the Kings need to get out in transition. And I'm not going to say they've had bad decisions with their lobs. They just haven't been able to execute some of them. They need to be more careful with the ball, especially in a night like this.
All right, other games in the association tonight. Indiana is at Dallas. New Orleans looking for their first win. Good luck. They are at Denver. Portland is at Utah. Both those teams already with 2 wins. Portland at 2-2, the Jazz at 2-1. And by the way, I think Portland is going to be right there this year. I said that when I did my preseason forecast. I like Portland. I think they could be right there fighting for one of those top 10 spots. Matter of fact, they will be, in my opinion. The Lakers are in Minnesota, and the Phoenix Suns host the Memphis Grizzlies. That is the last game. I think that's the last game on the card. So that's your NBA schedule. And again, be sure and join us on the postgame show. All right. Kings and Bulls. The Bulls are 3-0. 3 pretty good wins, too, when I look at the Bulls. And, I look at this team, and most people had the Bulls, being towards the bottom. In other words, fighting for a play-in. And I haven't watched them play this year, so I'd be lying if I could tell you a lot about them, other than the fact that they better be very cognizant of their deep shooting, because I think that this is something that the Bulls will try to do, and I think they'll take a high volume of those threes.
Yeah, and don't think Kevin Huerter isn't going to be hunting. He's got this one circled on the schedule, and he was very open and transparent about what he felt like the problems were in Sacramento after he had a big game back in Sacramento against the Kings last season. So got to check him. And again, that Bulls bench, you got to try to slow them down. You need to meet their level of energy.
All right, that game is going to be starting in about 20 minutes. And if this game is close, I've got to see better half-court execution, Rhino, than I've seen early in the season. It's just not been good. Plain and simple, it has not been good. It has not been good enough. And who's going to be on the floor with 5 minutes left in a close game? What combination will Doug Christie go with to close out a game? And let's not kid each other. The Kings desperately need a win tonight. 1-3 and 1-4. Wow. There's a huge difference going into Milwaukee at 2-3 as opposed to 1-4, because I don't think you're going to win against the Bucks. I just don't. And I don't think you're going to win against Denver unless there are some injuries between now and then. And I know it's a tough assignment playing 3-4 and playing last night, but you're better than Chicago personnel-wise. Okay, you are. When you look at the rosters, you're better. You got to figure out a way to win this game tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be constant rotations. I think Doug will still play Devin Carter. He'll go deep. I think he might be able to get a few more minutes than he did last game. But I circle Russell Westbrook and I circle Dennis Schroeder. You can't have both of them playing over 30 minutes. To me, it's got to be one or the other, because it's directly affecting Malik Monk's minutes as well. Malik played 26 last night. I'd like to see that up a little bit more. Keon 27.
And do you think we'll see a little more Devin Carter tonight, only because it is 3 games in 4 nights? And I thought that his 9 minutes last night against OKC, I thought they were pretty good, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I do, especially if Doug goes back to the zone a little bit. I would actually throw in some of the looks that they have out of the traps with the zone here and there against the Chicago team. I think just what you want to do, Grant, is constantly having them think, having them, not get set and know that they're going to get what they want and expect what the Kings are going to be throwing at them.
From the 9-1-6, Josh Giddey gets in the paint. Bulls get wide open kick-out threes. Giddey has been great. Yeah, he has. Josh Giddey has been really, really good. There's no doubt about that. So listen, the Bulls are a pesky team. Billy Donovan, the coach, and their style that they play And again, they're feeling good about themselves. Are they as good as maybe their record indicates? I wouldn't go that far, but I got to give them credit. I mean, 3-0 is 3-0. They're off to a good start, and they're taking on a tired Kings team. And I think the Bulls are going to be trying to do what the Kings tried to do to Oklahoma City last night and step on the gas against this team. And it'll be interesting to see how Russell Westbrook plays, because I thought he had a really good first half, and I thought he had a really bad second half last night.
Yep.
And I want to see more consistency out of him, and I want to see smarter play out of him.
Yeah, completely with you. It's a great point. And how is Doug going to handle the center position tonight behind Domas? We didn't see much IJ. I don't know if we saw IJ at all last game, actually,
No, we didn't.
now that I say it. But with Vucevic, are you going to see Dylan Cardwell? Are you going to see more Eubanks? I would expect probably a Cardwell sighting at some point in this
Boy,
one.
I don't know. Vucevic is extremely skilled, very experienced, and you better be ready to go against him if you don't have a lot of experience. So it's very interesting to see that aspect. Who's going to be the first bigs coming off the bench tonight? But the Kings are going to win and lose this game, as with most games in the NBA. I mean, how about that game? We talk about a make or miss league. How about those numbers that I rattled off at the beginning of the show, that the Warriors had 13 points in the second quarter. The Clippers in the second half had 16 and 14 points, for a grand total, with my Bowling Green math, of 30 second half points. How awful is that for the Clippers? And the Warriors second quarter, think about that team, Rhino, scoring only 13 points. Are you kidding me?
Both teams looked old last night.
Oh, my gosh.
They looked old out there. I'm sorry to say it. The Clippers do not look right.
No, they don't. They don't look right at all. And you look at, again, we always talk about rosters, right? I mean, if you look at their roster, you would go, wow, boy, they're pretty good. Leonard, Jones, Zubats, Harden, Bogey started last night.
Yeah.
Coming off the bench, Nicholas Batum, John Collins, Brooke Lopez, Chris Paul, Chris Dunn. All right. You'd look at that team and you go, that's a pretty good team.
Yep.
They've been very inconsistent at 2-2.
I circled the John Collins acquisition. I love it, but they're not using him like Utah would use him, right? He's just another guy right now lost in that shuffle of that second unit.
Averaging with the Clippers in 4 games, 25 minutes a game. He's playing 25 minutes a game.
But not the same impact
that
you would get.
No.
Especially in Utah.
No question. So it's early in the season, though. I think teams are still trying to find out rhythms, rotations, as are the Sacramento Kings without Murray and without Clifford. Now we're seeing tonight is the first same starting lineup, right? So up until tonight, we have 4 different starting lineups that Doug Christie has put out. Tonight, It's the same as last night.
Very good point. With the injuries, and you said earlier in the show, you think this team's going to be buried by November when Keegan gets back. By Thanksgiving, or before Keegan gets back. Here's my question. Do the injuries buy Doug Christie extra time if this team's not playing well?
No. Because you have a general manager that didn't hire the coach, that I don't think would have hired the coach. And even though Vivek loves Doug, Vivek thinks this is a playoff team, because I know how he thinks. He always thinks the team's better than they are. And no, I don't think so. You disagree?
I think about what his reported salary is compared to other coaches in the NBA. I think he does get a little bit of extra time. I think you got to give him a full deck to play with.
Yeah, but you see, I don't think the salary is a big deal, and I'll tell you why. The Kings got off the hook when Mike Brown was hired by the Knicks.
Great point.
And they don't have to pay Mike Brown anything now, because you can't double dip, and his contract with the Knicks was more than what he's getting paid in Sacramento. So that saved the Kings millions and millions and millions of dollars, okay? And Doug's making such little money. It's been reported at
$2 million.
Relatively speaking, when I say little money, we'd all love to make that. And I'm generalizing when we say we all. I'm sure I've got an individual or two that may be making more than $2 million a year. And if you are, all the power to you. But the point I'm trying to make is he's the lowest paid coach in the NBA. His salary is peanuts, relatively speaking. It would be not a problem to go hire an existing coach that's on the bench and pay them whatever you're going to pay them and look forward to next year. So in a nutshell, no, I don't think it's going to buy him extra time. And I think if this thing is a disaster around the first of the year or the All-Star break, listen, I know the owner, and Again, Scott Perry didn't hire Doug. You got to always keep that in mind. That's not his coach. Now, he might back him 100%, and he might want him to have success. But he didn't hire him. All right, you always have to remember that. He did not hire the coach.
I don't know if getting Westbrook backs Doug 100%, does it?
What do you mean, does it back him 100%?
It makes Doug's job harder.
Oh,
having
yeah, of course.
Westbrook.
Yeah. Yes, I would agree. But Doug seems to love Westbrook so much so that he's starting him now for the second game in a row, which I don't really understand, quite frankly.
Again, if they're going to throw some of those zone looks out there, that's what I thought, unless he thinks that he can replicate and he's just ramping up offensively. Yeah, we'll see. We'll tip off here in about 20.
All right. We've got that game will follow in hour number 3. You can follow along with us if you want to talk about everything that's going on. I've got Grant's Rant that's coming up in just a couple of minutes right here on the show. Tomorrow we'll get back into, in addition to the Kings and Bulls reaction tomorrow, Chris Landry, LandryFootball.com, and we will get you ready for a new week in the National Football League as it kicks off tomorrow. And so we've got football that we'll start getting into, both college on Saturday and the NFL. That's right. Love it. Not too many days off when you talk about the National Football League, and thank goodness for that. And you've got not exactly a great game tomorrow. I mean, but it is football. It is the NFL with the Ravens and the Dolphins from South Florida. When we come back, Grant's Rant, we'll get you ready for the Kings and the Bulls tipping off here in 15 minutes. All of that, plus your phone calls at 916-779-0929. The Grant Napear Show, Fox Sports, Sacramento.
Fox Sports traffic. We're dealing with some heavy rush hour delays throughout the entire Sacramento area. We did clean up a lot of those earlier problems, which is some good news. Marconi Avenue at Montclair Street, we got a hazard in North Sacramento, slowing things down just a little bit on the secondary roadways, so give yourself a little bit of extra time. Also, a disabled vehicle I-5 southbound at the US 50 interchange in South Sacramento, slowing things down. With twice an hour traffic, I'm Andy Bass for Fox Sports Sacramento.
At Downtown Ford Sacramento, we're proud of our long heritage. We've consistently provided Ford cars and trucks to families and businesses in this region for over 100 years. If we think about it, practically every kid who grew up in this town at one time or another rode around in a Ford that we sold to their family. We've served multiple generations of local farmers and ranchers who got their rugged Ford trucks from us. We've also provided many of the emergency vehicles that you see out doing the people's work every day on the streets. All of us at Downtown Ford, from our top-notch service department who keep your Ford running like new, to our dedicated finance team and the guys and gals in our showroom, we thank you for generations of love and loyalty to us. And for that love, we say right back at you. We're doing Fords just like we always have. Come see us any day of the week or visit us online at downtownfordsacramento.com.
Need new tires? Now through November 30th, save $100 instantly when you buy a set of 4 Bridgestone WeatherPeak tires. Save $70 instantly when you buy a set of 4 eligible Bridgestone tires, or buy a set of 4 eligible Firestone tires and save $60 instantly. Only at Express Tires. Express Tires, 7215 Watt Avenue. Offer valid November 1st through November 30th, 2025. Cannot be combined with other offers. See store for details.
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. After 4 Pro Bowls and a decade of steady play, Kirk Cousins built a reputation as one of the NFL's most reliable QBs. But in Atlanta, that resume has met a harsh new reality. After losing the starting job to Michael Penix Jr., Cousins was relegated to the role of mentor and backup. It's a transition he's handled with professionalism, but not without frustration. Reports this week suggest the veteran still wants another chance to start. On paper, that feels reasonable. His track record speaks for itself, but the fine print tells a different story. His recent showcase against a shaky Miami defense did little to boost his value. His cap hit, nearly $40 million, is almost impossible to maneuver this late in the season. He deserves credit for staying ready and taking the high road, but unless something unexpected changes, the quarterback's next opportunity may not come until next season. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. It's being called the Golden Bonanza Sweepstakes. Thanks to our friends at Mako, the DP Show, proud to be a part of this, giving listeners a chance to join us in San Francisco for Super Week. That's right, a trip for 2, including round-trip coach airfare, 3 nights, hotel stay, ground transportation, and VIP access to see us do our show. If that's not enough, Mako also giving away 5 free paint jobs and 10 Mako and DP Show swag bags as runner-up prizes. It's really simple to enter. You go to danpatrick.com. The best news, you can enter daily for a chance to win. You can also receive a 25% off coupon to use at any Mako shop. Visit any Mako location now for a free estimate and redeem the coupon. Terms and conditions apply. Remember, go to danpatrick.com for official rules. No purchase necessary. Void in Alaska, Hawaii, and where prohibited. Open to contiguous U.S. D.C. residents 18 or over. Ends 11/23/20.
Tell your friends. Grant's back. Grant Napear is back on the Sacramento airwaves right here. KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst. K284CM 104.7 FM Sacramento.
It's time for Grant.
Did you see the Milwaukee, New York game last night? Were you watching the game? And if not, I'm sure you've seen the video all over social media, all over the internet about Giannis Antetokounmpo taking like 7 steps, and Mike Tirico, the lead announcer and a great announcer, trying to explain that these steps don't really count until you gather the ball, the term being gather, and Reggie Miller and Jamal Crawford laughing, saying, If that's the way they're going to call it, I could still be playing it. I would have been playing at age 50. I mean, it's embarrassing to even think that the term gather, with Antetokounmpo traveling a third of the distance of the court pretty much without putting on the ball on the floor, was not called traveling by the NBA. I mean, you want to talk about criticizing officials. I'm happy to criticize the officials here. How 3 officials could miss that call is mind-boggling to me. I mean, if you didn't see the video, when you get a minute, just go to the internet and put in Giannis Antetokounmpo's name, okay, and watch the call that was not made last night in the Bucks and the Knicks game. If that's not traveling, then there is no such thing as traveling. That was as egregious of a missed call that I have seen in a long time. And to have Mike Tirico on slow motion replay try to talk about the gather and when the steps start, even at that point, Mike, it was still traveling. Okay? Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous how that was even brought up on the telecast and trying to explain to us what traveling is and what traveling is not. I mean, give me a freaking break. Did you see it? I mean, seriously, did you watch it? Did you see the traveling? I mean, the guy almost went half the court without putting the ball on the floor. And Giannis, to me, is great. I loved it when I announced games involving Giannis Antetokounmpo. He would keep me on the edge of my seat, and I'm not exaggerating. I mean, to see him in person courtside, oh, my goodness. But please, I mean, 7 steps? 7. All right, and even if you want to call a gather, he still took 4 steps after that. And you don't call that a travel? Seriously? Are you kidding me? Wake up, would you please? Wake up. And that's my rant for today. From the 702, great interview with MLB umpire Brian Knight, worthy of an entire podcast. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll do that. But seriously, Rhino, did you see the play I'm talking about?
I did.
I mean, give me a freaking break, would you please?
I didn't have a problem with what Chirico did because by the rule book,
no, come on.
Grant, by the rule book, if the hand in the basketball is at 5 o'clock, it is not considered a gather until the hand goes to 6 o'clock.
He still traveled after both hands touched the ball. He still traveled.
But it's a matter of where the hands are at on the basketball.
It's travel. If that's not traveling, then you need to get rid of and just let everyone in the league take 10 steps. If that's not a travel, then you can't call it. And again, he traveled after he quote unquote gathered the ball. He still traveled.
Well, according to the definition of the gather, that's debatable. Brian Scalabrine this morning was also defending it. And
that's ridiculous.
I'm just saying, I think it's more of a rule book thing. I think it's ridiculous, this whole idea of gathering. I think you can take advantage, these players, especially somebody like Giannis, with his level of skill, you can take advantage of that rule if they truly are looking at the hands and the basketball because of the amount of ground you can cover with your steps. But, I mean, we see it all the time, Napes.
You just made a really good point, and I think this is true of a lot of sports. Sometimes it's the rule book that needs to be changed, right? The way the rules are written and the way they are interpreted, it's the actual rule because the officials have to follow what's in the rule book, all right? But in this particular case, I disagree with everyone that thinks that was not a travel. Even after he, quote unquote, gathered the ball, he traveled. I really believe he traveled even after he gathered the ball. And if you're going to allow that, Ryan, and here's the key point. If you're going to allow that, then that individual becomes completely you cannot defend him. He becomes undefendable. Is that a word? You can't defend him. All right?
Correct. I would agree with you there. It also makes regular traveling violations look very minuscule compared to what's not a traveling violation.
Yeah, like if you just, pick your pivot foot up by an inch and you don't move, okay? Right. That's a travel, but a Dedecumbo can go a third of the way without putting the ball on the floor, right?
100%. Two extremes.
Yeah, that's great. Kings and Bulls getting ready to start, and we are going to be talking about that. We always talk about the fine line, and I know what it is because I did it for many, many years, okay? When you are the announcer for a team and you are in the locker room and you travel with the team and everything else. I'm talking about a big story, or at least it's big in terms of conflict, between a former great New York Giant, Carl Banks, who I think should be in the Hall of Fame, but he played on the same defense with Lawrence Taylor and Harry Carson, so he's not. But Dexter Lawrence is regarded as one of the best defensive linemen in the National Football League. And Carl Banks does a podcast with Bob Papa, the voice of the Giants, who we had on this show a couple of weeks ago. And Carl Banks is the longtime radio analyst on the New York Giants radio calls. All right. And so Lawrence, after he was criticized by Banks on his podcast, said, quote, he's delusional, and then added, his words are delusional. Banks responded this way, quote, I love Dex and will continue to support him and his teammates publicly. I wish them great success. He remains my favorite Giant, as I stated on my podcast. In order to get out of the current mess, he and they will have to ask more of themselves. I have been, in my opinion, fair in my critiques, my observations, as well as complimentary of not just him, but others as well. I do that all publicly, weekly. All right. He said, I am a Giant and I wish them nothing but success. If he is unhappy with me, I'm okay with that. It won't change how I feel about him. Hopefully they will collectively ask more of themselves and finish strong. They have the talent to do so, and I will be rooting for that to happen. So, interesting because here's a guy on the New York Giants broadcast who's in the locker room at practices, travels with the team, and he was pretty critical of Lawrence on his podcast. Pretty much so. Who has not had the year that he's had in the past, but Lawrence pointed out that he's double teamed on every single play, and he was not happy, Dexter Lawrence, that Banks, basically criticized him on the podcast and said, quote, "Yeah, those are strong words, but that's how he feels. F it." How about that? Dexter Lawrence and Carl Banks going at it after being criticized on the podcast. So it's interesting. Here's what another starter on the defense has said, Bobby Okereke. Quote, "Banks is an in-house guy, so maybe that's his way of trying to motivate Dex and light a fire under him, maybe get him pissed off, see if he can have him playing with an edge. But Dex is a pro. Obviously, you can have any personal conversation with any guy you want at any time. But Dex has been an elite pro, Pro Bowl, all-pro caliber in this league for a long time. If anybody's critical of his play, I think he'll be the first one to be critical of himself. So I don't know if he necessarily needs outside criticism to get him going." From the 916, just watch. That's traveling with 3 exclamation points. Wow. You think? Yeah. Anyway, I found that story to be rather interesting coming out of New York, because we always talk about the fine line that, if you are a broadcaster for a team and you're on the radio, like, hello, I was for a long time. There are some dicey situations. It comes with the territory. And you know me, I'm opinionated. And just because I was the announcer for the team for 32 years doesn't mean I was going to go soft on the radio.
Grant, how does that play with the rest of the locker room in terms of the analyst's relationship and access to the other players?
The vast majority of players agree with what you say, and they see the same thing that you're seeing. And the vast majority of players don't have a problem with it because they understand that comes with the territory. There are a few that are very thin-skinned that can't handle criticism of any time, such as Kevin Durant. And it's those such as Kevin Durant and others like DeMarcus Cousins that are extremely thin-skinned, that if you're a newspaper reporter or you work for a local affiliate or what have you, if you do or say something they don't like, they're going to bully you and they're going to undress you, and they are going to make a mountain out of a molehill over it. So everyone's different.
I have no idea what DeMarcus is anymore. He keeps putting these wild quotes out on podcasts like he's going to be the next Woj or he's the next Shams. He had the one over the summer about Durant and saying that the Phoenix locker room was having fistfights during the season, and Lou Williams, who was on the podcast, was trying to get Boogie to walk it back. And just this week, he was on the same podcast and said that the front office in Philadelphia is trying to get rid of Embiid. And it's like, I don't know how that's viewed by the rest of the players, how that's viewed by the media, because you're a past player. Like, who's giving you information, right?
I don't know why anybody would listen to anything that DeMarcus Cousins says. I really mean that. I don't even know why he would be on a podcast. I don't know why anyone would, based on his track record and how all over the board he is, I don't know why anybody would even pay attention to what he's saying.
Right. And that's what's really interesting about it. It's just odd.
All right, the Kings and the Bulls are underway. We'll monitor that game. Again, Russell Westbrook is starting for the second game in a row. The Kings playing last night in Oklahoma City and losing 107-101, taking on a Bulls team that is 3-0. And we'll see if the start of the game is going to be an issue for Sacramento, as this is their third game in 4 nights. And already the Kings coming up with a couple of really nice turnovers and have the early lead on Chicago of 6-3. We'll be on right after the game, the post-game show over on our YouTube channel. If you don't like that, very much looking forward to breaking it down with Rhino and Jerry Reynolds. This is a game, I don't care if it's 3 games in 4 nights. You need to figure out a way to win this game. You really do. You gotten off to a bad start, and you need to figure out a way to win this game. You're playing a team that you're better than. I mean, let's just call it the way it is. I'm sorry, but they're better. They're better than the Chicago Bulls. Go out and prove it. I don't care if you're tired. Go out and figure out a way to win the game, Rhino.
Grant, a lot of Kings fans feel like this is a home game for the Kings.
Why?
Because they feel like the Kings are the Bulls recreated with DeRozan, Levine, etc. But no, you've got guys that are playing in some of, or at least for DeRozan and Levine, their old home, and Billy Donovan still coaching the Bulls. Maybe that's going to get Zach LaVine a little bit more fired up because they weren't always on the same page. But you got to get this one done, as you said.
Yeah, absolutely. So early moments, they've only played a little less than 3 minutes. We'll keep you up to date on that game. Of course, we welcome your phone calls and your text messages at 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929. And again, hope you can join us after the game over on our YouTube channel as we break down the game with the Kings and the Chicago Bulls. Then next up for Sacramento, after a couple days off, they got the Milwaukee Bucks, and then they wrap up the road trip in Denver against the Denver Nuggets. Last time I looked, they are pretty darn good. Hey, the NBA season tips off, and so does DraftKings' newest fantasy game. It's DraftKings Pick 6. It is the easiest way to play for big wins. Every possession gives you a shot at real money. Just take your favorite player on a team and look at the over. Or are you going more or less? It's very simple. More or less. Just go to the Pick 6 app, the DraftKings Pick 6 app. I've got it. It's very interesting, and it's all there for you to pick more or less on 2 or more stats. And you can unlock the upside on that every game brings. And here's the bottom line. The better your picks, the bigger your payout. That's right. The better your picks, the bigger the payout. Pick 6 is available in your state, plus new DraftKings customers get $50 in bonus picks with just a $5 entry on your first pick set. Don't just watch basketball, cash in. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now. Use code KSAC. That's code KSAC. Play just $5, get $50 in Pick 6 bonus picks. Make the call, ride the upside in partnership with DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 bonus picks that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos. Give me a shout. Text line, phone call 916-779-0929 right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Fox Sports Traffic taking another look at the roadways. Officials remain on scene of that earlier problem. I-80 westbound right at Truxell Road. 3 right lanes remain blocked off, and you got heavy delays throughout that entire area. Give yourself some extra time to work your way through there. Cap City Freeway, eastbound, westbound, in between Marconi Avenue and Exposition Boulevard. You two are dealing with some heavy rush hour delays along with US 50 in that area. With twice an hour traffic, I'm Andy Bass for Fox Sports Sacramento.
Traffic brought to you by Gabroods Electrical. Homeowners, for any electrical project you need done, trust the good dudes at Gabroods. Locally owned, 5-star service experts, and always transparent prices and solutions. Say goodbye to your electrical issues with Gabroods. GUBRUDS.com.
Okay, we are running a car drive right now to help veterans all across America. So if you have an old car, truck, or van, even a motorcycle or an RV sitting around, you can right now give it away and help the vets. They really need your help. And your car will help support the vets and their families. And guess what? You even get a tax donation. Plus, we'll even come and pick up your car for free. And all you've got to do is pick up your phone right now and make a free call. Now is the perfect time to do something good for the vets. Give back to the vets right now for all they've done for this country. And your old car can really help them. So call the Veterans Car Donation Program right now for free pickup of your vehicle. Help the vets and help your taxes at the same time. Call right now.
800-598-0539. 800-598-0539.
800-598-0539. That's 800-598-0539.
His name? Grant Napear.
Sacramento's most iconic announcer is back.
3 o'clock, Monday through Friday, 3-hour show.
The Grant Napear Show is back. The Grant Napear Show, weekdays 3 to 6, right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Yeah, and be sure and download the Fox Sports KSAC app. So if you're out of the area, traveling, no problem. You can listen to the show on the go. Kings and Bulls, first quarter, the Bulls with an early 5-point lead. We talk a lot about Rhino, Zach LaVine, and DeMar DeRozan being back in Chicago. Isn't it interesting when you look at LaVine that he was traded for Jimmy Butler? I mean, think about that, right?
Yeah.
The Butler-LaVine trade, and you look at their careers, and you look at what Butler has done since leaving Minnesota and how effective he was in some of his other stops, most notably Miami, and now with Golden State. It's been a long time, Ryan, since I've seen a trade in the middle of a season. We talked about this the other day, have a bigger impact than Jimmy Butler's had on Golden State. They're almost unbeatable when he's playing. Seriously.
Yeah, he's a special player, Grant. He can do a little bit of everything. What he does on the defensive end, incredible. Gets to the free throw line. He gets it. When Jimmy Butler's on the floor, for the most part, you are getting all in Jimmy. And Grant, he has levels to his game. When he knows he needs to score, where we hear about playoff Jimmy, he gets it done. When he doesn't, he gets his teammates involved.
The Chicago Bulls organization just did a nice video tribute for Zach LaVine during the timeout, and he acknowledged by pounding his chest with his fist. So nice job by the Bulls as LaVine is back in Chicago. Great start for the Blue Jays, back-to-back homers. Wow, what a way to start this pivotal Game 5. Again, the game with the Kings and the Bulls, it is 17 and now 19-12 in favor of Chicago. Kevin Herter, have you ever heard of him? He just came into the game and in the first 5 seconds scores a basket.
There you go. Buzelis, off to a strong start as well. 8 points for the Bulls.
Yeah. So again, the Bulls and the Kings, and we look forward to talking about it on the post-game show as the Bulls have had a quick start in this game, leading by the score of 19-12. World Series. Have you had a chance? I know you're so busy, you're doing like a million things. Have you even had an opportunity to watch much of the World Series?
Yeah, I watched the entire 18-inning game. I didn't get as much in last night because we were on, but I've enjoyed watching the World Series a lot.
Yeah, I have too, actually. Yeah. Bulls extend their lead in the first quarter of 21-12. Kings better be real careful here, Ryan. They really need to be careful because, again, we're talking about the attrition in 3 games and 4 nights. And currently, as I look at the Kings roster, you have, I think, Keon Ellis is the first guy into the game for Sacramento off the bench. So I think that you mentioned this. The bench is going to be really key here in this game. I don't know how many minutes you're going to be able to get out of your bets with the score now 21-12 with 5 minutes left to go. It's been an awful first quarter so far for Sacramento.
See, and I don't want to. We're just over halfway through the first quarter. I don't want to second guess Doug, but what you just said makes me think that's why you start Keon. You've got younger legs. 3 nights and 4 nights, or 3 games and 4 nights.
Westbrook and he hasn't been playing
didn't have
that much.
Training camp, It's just one of those things. Monk coming in now for the Kings as well. Doug's got to use his timeouts wisely. You cannot let this get away too quick.
You better call one right now because they're getting smoked in the first quarter, down 24-12. So long way to go. Listen, big leads in the NBA, not a big deal. And you talk about Monk, what does he do? He comes into the game and he hits a 3 right away.
Yep. Assist Keon Ellis. There you go.
Yep. Absolutely. Great point. Really good point. Is there anything about Keon's game, when you talk about Keon Ellis, that you don't like, that you really like to see him make a leap this year?
Probably his individual offense in terms of playmaking. I think that's where you need to see a little bit more. He's got a high IQ in terms of making the extra pass, but the ability to pump fake here and come in for a mid-range jumper, I know that's something he has been working tirelessly on after practice. he adds that into his game. It's going to throw defenses way off guard.
All right, give us a call, 916-779-0929. This from the 916. Grant, why didn't Sabonis improve his three-point shot, especially in today's game? Well, actually, he did work on it quite a bit in the offseason, and Doug Christie actually is fine with him taking more threes when he is open. So I wouldn't just necessarily say that is not going to happen, but the Bulls with a early double-digit lead in the first quarter at home against the Kings. Again, if you want to call the show, you can, and we invite you to call the show at 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929. You can use that number to text the show as well, as we're going to get to some phone calls here. And then in my final segment, we'll go over the NBA scoreboard tonight, talk about what is coming up tomorrow and on Friday on the show as a pivotal Game 5 in the World Series. And, of course, the winner of this is going to be in pretty good shape. We get to Lynn right here on the Grant Napear Show. Hi, Lynn.
Grant, the first thing I'm going to ask you is, how hard is it to do your top 5 and bottom 5 with all these teams beating each other, and you can't figure out who is the real ones and who are the pretenders?
Yeah, it's really difficult because head-to-head competition a lot of times is my tiebreaker. But if they played in week 1 or week 2, I don't put as much emphasis as if they played last week or the week before. If teams have identical records, my tiebreaker is very often the head-to-head competition.
I've been enjoying watching the Spurs this year, and I'm almost getting in trouble with my wife because I haven't watched it for like 7-8 years, but now I'm watching a lot, and they look pretty impressive, especially because of the big guy.
I want to tell you, if Victor Wembanyama stays healthy, I made this comment recently.
Yep, I heard it.
He may go down as the greatest player of all time. Lynn, I've never seen anyone do what he does at his size. It's absolutely unbelievable.
I mean, I remember when Durant came in, everybody was going crazy with him, but Victor took it to the next level. And I want to finish up real quick with one last thing. F1 Mexico. What the heck happened? I tell you what, Ferrari has to be given a bonus to their old drivers, the guy who went to Williams, because he helped them to secure that second place podium. Did you watch that race yet?
Yeah, I did watch it. Yeah. Are you talking about Carlos Sainz?
Yes, because when he had his little incident and they threw the virtual car with like 4 or 5 laps, nobody could pass each other, and that car was not in any harm's way. I've watched.
Yeah, I didn't understand that.
F1, IndyCar, and I tell you what, Max was going to get second place there if he had another lap or two.
And Piastri might have been able to finish ahead of the Mercedes car as well. So I'm with you. I didn't understand that. It made no sense to me at all. It didn't make any sense to the announcers.
Yeah. So going in with 4 weeks left, Lando's up by 1. Oscar's at 356. Max is 35 behind. So any 3 of those guys can do it. And what's really interesting is the fight for the constructors 2 through 4. Ferrari at 356, Mercedes 355, and Red Bull 346. So that can change in the next 4 races.
Yeah, the problem with Red Bull is they're not getting enough from Yuki Tsunoda in the number 2 car, whereas, generally speaking, Norris and Piastri are right up there near the top, and Mercedes is not getting a lot from, Kimi Antonelli. It's all George Russell right now, but, Antonelli every now and then. So, we know that McLaren's already won the constructors, but if you're looking at, what Leclerc's done, he's really having a strong finish. You can never count out Lewis Hamilton. So if I'm looking at, obviously, Ferrari, Mercedes, and Red Bull, I think it's going to go right down to the last race. I mean, that battle for 2, 3, and 4 is huge, and it's going right down to the last race.
And a little bit of comment on Yuki. I was listening to one of my IndyCar podcasts. Some people are waiting to see what happens with him with his F1 ride, and they're thinking Yuki's going to show up in one of the Indy cars that's powered by Honda. Because if you remember, the Red Bull teams are switching to a Ford power plant next year.
Wow!
So it'll be interesting to see where Yuki goes. So
yeah, next year is going to be very interesting with all the changes coming in.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see the dominant car. If you watch the history of this, you had Schumacher, dominant Ferrari, then you had the Mercedes with Hamilton, now you had Max, now we got McLaren. So I think the domination might be changing, especially we'll see what happens with the new specs in 26.
Appreciate it, Lynn. Good stuff.
All right, Grant, talk to you next week. See you later.
All right. Take care. Ryan, you ever watch F1 or no?
No, you guys are speaking a little bit of a different language right now.
That's like
me.
when you talk WWE, I'm like, I don't have no idea what you're talking about. It's the same thing, right?
Yeah, you know what? That's a good point because it's such a big deal with F1 overseas and it's growing here tremendously in the US.
Yeah, and they have a race that they just had in Austin, and they come to Vegas, and they come to Miami, so it is growing without a question. And you can't get, you know how hard it is when they come here to when I'm in Miami, when I lived in and I'm in Miami, and I try to get a ticket. You know how hard it is to get an F1 ticket to go to the race in Miami. It's crazy.
How does it work I apologize for my ignorance, but when they do the street races in Vegas, are they repaving or making sure
Nope.
those areas of the streets are
Well, they
up to
did
par?
they do their best, but 2 years ago in a practice, Carlos Sainz actually ran over a manhole cover, which is part of the race, and it came up because of the downforce. It actually came up and damaged his car, and it was a practice session, and he still got a 10 grid penalty. All right, so there were 20 cars, and he got it, even though that had nothing to do with him. It was just a freak thing. The manhole cover was not secured, and it cost him 10 spots. How about that?
10 spots?
Yep.
So they call it a
Yep.
10 grid.
10 grid penalty.
Huh.
Yep.
Okay.
Hey, by the way, the Kings are making a nice comeback here at the end of the first quarter. They were down double digits, and now they've cut it to just 3 points. But Kevin Herter with a straightaway three, and it's back to now a 6-point lead at 34-28. So just keep you up to date. There's 90 seconds left in the first quarter, and the Bulls are scoring very easily, and that's going to have to change if the Kings are going to win this game.
Yep. Kings end up hitting a three-pointer. We got a 34-31 now.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, Westbrook hit a corner three. So a very high-scoring first quarter. I don't know if the pace of this game favors Sacramento. The only reason why I'm saying that is the 3 games in 4 nights. But guess what? Guess who's on the floor now is Carter. So he gets an early entrance into this game, and he's on the floor with, let's see, it looks like Eubanks is in on the floor with Westbrook, and DeRozan and Malik Monk.
Yes. Bingo. You got predominantly a lot of the bench unit on the floor right now for Chicago as well.
And the Bulls are firing and not making a lot of threes at the end of the quarter, but they are not bashful about taking the shots from beyond the circle.
No,
not
they're
bashful
not.
at all.
Not at all. And, I'm not surprised by a 34-point period for the
I'm
Bulls.
not either.
But the Kings, I am a little surprised. Right now, they sit at 31.
Yep, absolutely. All right. So we're going to talk about this game as we take you right up until 6 o'clock. And don't forget the post-game show over on YouTube. If you don't like that, Jerry Reynolds, Rhino, myself, right after the game. All right. So as soon as the game ends, join us on the post-game show. Really have been thankful for the thousands of Sacramento fans and NBA fans that have joined us on the post-game show. And again, we do that after each and every game. But first quarter in the Windy City, and the score at the end of one is 36-33 in favor of Chicago. All right. 916-779-0929. If you want to call the show, 916-779-0929. See, Ryan, all I need to do now, and don't hold your breath, is get caught up on the WWE, and then we can talk about everything on the air. But that's going to take me a while.
Well, you know what? Let's hold each other accountable. I will get caught up on F1, and I will.
pass.
I will. Why not? Why not?
I don't have time. I don't have time to even look at WWE. I don't have time.
Okay,
I can't do it.
What if I bring you in on like a big event, like a WrestleMania?
All right.
Can you give me 3 hours
No.
once a year?
100% can't give you 3 hours of wrestling.
Come
no,
on.
I can give you 30 minutes to 60 minutes. Can't give you 3 hours. No way.
What if I took you live? That'll change the experience.
All right. We'll talk about it. Okay.
All right.
Yeah. F1, if you really want to get in the F1, do me a favor. All you got to do is you want me to spend 3 hours? I'm going to tell you, all you need to do is spend 45 minutes. Go to Netflix and watch the F1 series and just watch episode 1 of season 1 and just watch the first 60 minutes. I didn't know anything about F1. I didn't know how many cars were in the race. I couldn't tell you one driver's name. I couldn't tell you anything about it. And just because of the series, Drive to Survive, on Netflix, I got hooked on it. That's one of the best series that I've ever seen on Netflix. And I was bored one night. I'm like, and I'm like, I just put it on, and I'm like, wow. And I couldn't put it down. I watched I think I watched 5 episodes right away, and then I went to season 2 and season 3 and season 4. It's incredible. It's incredible.
Does it roll out as the season's going along, or do you get like a full season after? Okay.
After. Yeah, after. So once the season is over and it's rolled out, I believe before the next season begins, but I'm not even sure about that. But if you just watch the first episode of season 1, I told some friends about that here in Sacramento, and the wife, she used to work in IndyCar, and she loves auto racing. And I said, listen, you got to watch the Netflix series. And now she and her husband are addicted to it. I think they're already on the last season, and they were like, they couldn't stop watching it.
So I did watch episode 1. I don't remember what happened, but it made me watch a couple more right after that. So
okay.
I'll go back to it.
All right.
I'll turn back
Fair enough.
around.
All right. Final segment, straight ahead. Your phone calls welcome at 916-779-0929, and your text messages as well, right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Fox Sports Traffic as we take one final look at the roadways for this Wednesday evening. We are still working a couple of problems. The US 50 eastbound at Sunrise Boulevard, that right lane remains blocked off. Stop and go traffic pretty much from, let's call it from Bradshaw Road out to that scene. So give yourself that extra time. Cap City Freeway, top of the town freeway, I-5 still sluggish with heavy rush hour delays. Give yourself some extra time to work your way through those. With twice an hour traffic, I'm Andy Bass for Fox Sports Sacramento.
Hey, it's Grant Napear for Village Financial Group. I have known broker-owner Spencer Grimmenstein for 25 years, ever since he began his family-owned business. Whether it's a home equity line of credit or buying or selling a home, Spencer is a very creative financing specialist with access to private money. Check out Village Financial Group at vfgloans.com or call Spencer at 916-805-4868. Be sure and call for the investor special. And if you go to their website, vfgloans.com, you can find over 9,000 properties available for purchase. Folks, Spencer is awesome. Trust me. Again, I've known the guy since 2000. It makes sense to call Spence at 916-805-4868. Village Financial Group, looking out for your best interest. Call 916-805-4868.
Looking for the ultimate night out? Welcome to HQ Showgirls, Sacramento's premier adult gentlemen's club. We're the only topless club between Reno and San Francisco serving alcohol, beer, wine, and champagne. All inside over 6,000 square feet of pure excitement. Planning a party or a VIP night? Call our VIP manager now at 916-389-0199 to book your table. Come experience the energy at HQ Showgirls, 851 Richards Boulevard, Sacramento. Open 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. Sunday through Thursday and until 4 a.m. Friday and Saturday. Visit hqnightclub.com, where the night begins and never stops.
For nearly all of us, our home is our biggest investment. And just as important as what it looks like on the outside is what is happening on the inside. How long has it been since you had your home's electrical integrity checked? Whether your home is 10 or more years old or even a newer build, the safe rule of thumb is to get the electrical inspected at least every 5 years. At Gabroods, electrical work is all we do. We're the area's recognized experts. Panel replacements, whole house fans, generators, solar, and more. But home inspections are what we do most often. Whether you have a difficult electrical situation or it's just time to ensure your home and family are safe, call locally owned Gabroods for our thorough 12-point expert inspection. Gabroods, serving our Northern California neighbors for more than 30 years. Gabroods, G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Call the good dudes at Gabroods, G-U-B-R-U-D-S, Gabroods.com.
Hey, it's Grant Napear for DAS Mechanical, HVAC retrofit and service specialist. Family owned and operated since 2018, serving Sacramento and Placer counties. And yeah, the weather's going to turn soon, and it's going to start getting chilly. And when you need that heater to work, you don't want to be Mr. or Mrs. Uh-oh. You need to make sure that you're good to go. Well, right now at DAS Mechanical, they have a $69 winter maintenance check. That's right, only $69 through the end of November. Take advantage of that by going to dasmechanical.org. That's D as in dog, A, S as in Sam, mechanical.org. You can schedule everything online and make sure you look at their 5-star reviews and their numerous Best of the Best awards. Homeowners, business for commercial maintenance, it's all there for you. DAS Mechanical. That's dasmechanical.org. Take advantage of that $69 special now. Well, if you like three-point shooting, you probably wouldn't want to watch the game tonight in Chicago. The Kings are 3 of 12 in the first half, and the Bulls are 5 of 14. A lot of misses. And so what that means is, regardless of what the score is, the game's going to not be out of reach, because what happened was the Bulls had a 12-point lead because they were making threes, and now they haven't made a three in about a half hour, and the Kings were able to come back just like that, and the game is tied. So that's the way the NBA works. You know, you are live by the three, you die by the three. That's the way it is. And the second quarter underway with 9.5 remaining, and the game keeps on going back and forth. Right now it is tied at 39. But Ryan, you know, the volume of threes, especially by the Bulls, and when Vucevic is not on the floor, and even though Vucevic is fine with taking threes, he's already made one, but you're going to see them. I wouldn't be surprised to see them with about 45 three-pointers by the end of the game. And I'm talking about attempts, not makes.
Yeah, they shot 43 their last game. So it's one of their things. They're going to keep going to it. And that's where that zone defense, if Doug mixes it in, you encourage them to take them if they're not falling.
Yeah. Russell Westbrook, 2 early fouls. He's played 12 minutes. He has 7 points. Zach LaVine, the former Bull, with 7 points. And DeMar DeRozan, also tremendous years in Chicago, with 6 points. The Bulls and the Kings, they are tied with 3 minutes gone by in quarter number 2. And again, if you're just joining us, remember the post-game show over on YouTube. If you don't like that, we will be on right after the game. Jerry Reynolds, Ryan, and myself. Looking forward to that. The Bulls, by the way, led by, how do you pronounce that name again, Rhino?
Matis Buzelis.
11 points for him in the first half so far. Buzelis.
Yeah.
Buzelis has 11 points.
Quick game so far. Only 6 free throws attempted in totality.
Yeah. You look at the bench for Sacramento, and Doug Christie with right now a 9-man rotation. Eubanks has played 7 minutes, Monk 8 minutes, Carter 6 minutes, and Keon Ellis 4 minutes. So Devin Carter getting an extended run here in the first half.
Good. That's what you need. Got fresh legs. Use them.
Yeah, I'm okay with that too. I'm right with you on that.
Great.
100%.
Devin played well in the preseason. I thought he did enough to possibly crack a few minutes before Westbrook was signed.
Well, and this is his opportunity, because when Nick Clifford comes back, okay, he's not going to get on the floor.
No.
So these are his minutes right now to show what he can do, and they're extremely valuable minutes for him, because, again, you know, when Nick comes back, that's going to affect minutes from a lot of the players, not just him, but other players as well.
And it's his ability not only to show the Kings, but to show the rest of the NBA as well.
Yes, great point. Yep, great point. We talk about Kevin Huerter in 8 minutes. He's scored 7 points, and he's going to the line for 2 free throws here. You know, we talk about the bench, and you talk about the bench earlier, and it is this second half, when the second half starts, it's going to be very interesting to see the minutes played by your vets and the minutes played by the bench. So if this game is close, and I think it will be close when you get to the 5-minute mark, it'll be interesting to see what the lineup looks like for Sacramento.
And I hope Doug goes with the guys that are playing well. If Malik's playing well, put him in there. Don't go back to the starters or the old lineup, especially if they're not having a good run. at the moment.
The first quarter was 36-33. The Bulls outscoring the Kings by 3. And here in the second quarter, it's already 10-4, the run for Sacramento. So a good start to the second quarter. Kings have yet to beat at the free throw line, Ryan. No free throw attempts here in the first half so far.
Yeah, and that's not surprising. They're small. It's not a lot of paint attacks that you're going to get from DeMonis. He's going to be getting putbacks for the most part. The guards have tried to get in there. DeMar DeRozan's tried to get in there, but eventually you do need to be able to get to the line at some point in this one.
Good second quarter for the Kings. They have already made 5 field goals to 1 for the Chicago Bulls.
Well,
so
it was a good end. It was a good end to the first quarter, right?
Yes, it was.
It's carrying it over, so this bench unit's picking up that starting unit.
Yeah, Malik Monk's really playing well in this game. Really playing well with 9 points. And the Kings have opened up their largest lead of the game after being down by 12. Good ball movement, which I really like. I know you like. They already have 13 assists and 4 turnovers, so much better assist-to-turnover ratio than we have been seeing for Sacramento.
Much better. No shot attempts either from Dennis Schroeder. Interesting enough. And he's got a couple of assists, so there you go.
Yeah, good second quarter for the Kings so far, outscoring the Bulls 12-4. Hey, I want to tell you about Spencer Grimmenstein, who I've known for 25 years from Village Financial Group, broker owner. And that's when he began his family-owned business. We talk about experience, being really good at what you do. That is Spence, the broker owner, as I said, at Village Financial Group. You buying a home, you selling a home, looking for a home equity line of credit. Spence is not only very experienced, he is very creative when it comes to financing. He's a financing specialist, and he has access to private money. Call or text Spence at 916-805-4868. You can text him, call him, again, 916-805-4868. Be sure and ask about the Investors Special. Go to VFGloans.com. That's VFGloans.com, and you can find over 9,000 properties available for purchase. It makes sense to call Spence at 916-805-4868. Village Financial Group, looking out for your best interest. Rhino, I don't put too much into rotations early in the season because the ebb and flow of an NBA season is very long, and injuries will dictate who gets onto the floor and who doesn't get onto the floor. But, like, for instance, last night, we didn't see Isaac Jones get into the game, and Max Reynaud not into the game. And when we talk about Reynaud, who really looked good in Summer League, who we kept on hearing about from Coach Christie and the players in training camp, when you look at the bigs right now, and you look at Cardwell, when you look at Jones, when you look at Reynaud, is he last now in the rotation, do you think, as we sit here and talk today?
Yes.
Okay.
No doubt about it. And right now, with the Kings' injury situation, this would be the opportunity for him to be getting some run. And Doug's still not going to him. And you're right about not putting too much into the rotation because you've got Keegan. Keegan Murray changes everything. And then the Neek thing that you brought up, he's going to eat up a lot of minutes. We said some of our bold predictions. He's going to have to play 25-plus minutes a night. And it looks like he's going to be that guy that does it.
Again, the game right now in the second quarter, and it is the Kings now opening up a 7-point lead at 47-40 with the bench playing very well. And after a slow start where they were down by 12, they have come right back. And the Kings, again, going to a zone defense and really flustering them. And Malik Monk in double figures off the bench already with 11 points. So I like that. Change it up, and the zone defense giving the Bulls a couple of fits.
Yep. Absolutely love it. You got to come out, though, and do this second half. This is how you have to play for 48 minutes. The Kings are not the Thunder that can do it for 42 or 46. You got to do 48.
Yeah, and again, let's face it. This is, again, I don't care if you're playing 3 games in 4 nights. I don't care if you played last night. You are better than the Chicago Bulls. No one's going to debate that. You're a better team than the Bulls. You have better players. You have better personnel. You better go out and win this game because you have Giannis and the Milwaukee Bucks off to a really good start. They play the Golden State Warriors coming up before they play Sacramento. And after the Bucks, you play Denver. So this may be your best chance on the remainder of this road trip to get a win, and you better figure out a way to close this deal in the second half. This is a game that, forget about fatigue and all of that nonsense. It's not nonsense, but forget about it. Put it out of your mind. You need to win this game.
Yeah,
you
well
need to
said.
win the game.
Well said. It's like the Thunder last night when they realized they were only down, was it 2 or 4 at the half? It's like, all right, well, what's another
4
24
points.
minutes? Let's just go get this, right? And
Yep.
it's the same thing for the Kings tonight. We're already in the heat of it. Go finish it.
Yeah, they had a chance with an SGA shot from 3 to cut it to 1 at the buzzer. He missed it. So, yeah, the Kings had, I think it was 62-58. And the Thunder, who I thought were outplayed in the first half, felt like, wow, we're right there. We're not playing well, and we're only down by 4 points. So, yeah, absolutely. Good point. But I like the way the Kings are scoring. They're scoring the ball very easily right now. Like, they're really getting the shots that they want to get. And, again, with 5.5 left, to have 51 points, that's a good total.
Well, Grant,
so I like the way they're playing.
It's the flow. The ball's moving. They're getting stops defensively using that zone defense. Those are all conducive things to the Kings' success.
Yeah. Zach LaVine in his return has 9 points, and DeMar DeRozan has 6 points. Again, 5.5 left. And we'll break it down for you on the postgame show over on YouTube if you don't like that. Elsewhere in the world of sports, and we talk about the World Series and what's going on in this pivotal Game 5, the Blue Jays with a 2-0 lead as that ball game is in the top of the third. Again, it is 2-0. NBA tonight, a fairly busy schedule going on in the association. We give you some of the scores from other games around the NBA. The Rockets are 10 up on the Raptors with just under 4 minutes remaining in Toronto. The Celtics are leading the Cavaliers 92-75. The Pistons at home against a struggling Magic team early in the season. They have gotten off to a slow start. Detroit leading by the score of 84-77. Elsewhere, the Hawks are in Brooklyn at the intermission. It is 64-51 in favor of Atlanta. The Pacers and Mavericks just underway. The Mavs off to a very slow start at 1-3. They are already trailing by 4 early in that game. A little bit later, Pelicans are in Denver to take on the Nuggets. Portland is in Salt Lake City. They'll face off against the Jazz. Minnesota and the Lakers from Minnie and the Grizzlies and the Suns, your NBA schedule. But I'm a little surprised at Orlando. I thought, and again, it's early, but they're really struggling. They're struggling to score the ball right now, down by 10. We know about Banchero and getting Desmond Wade. I didn't think that would be an issue, but they're having some problems early on.
Yeah, you'll get Desmond Bane going eventually, but that's been the knock on Orlando, right?
Yeah.
Shooting, unless they're playing the Kings, especially at the Golden One Center.
Yeah, you think? Yeah, he's a king killer. You know what else I'm watching in this game tonight? The Kings, Domantas Sabonis looks a lot better. He looks a lot more like himself in this game tonight than he has in the previous 3 games.
It's a great point. It's a very good point. The Kings are putting down their field goals at a decent percentage. They only have one offensive rebound, which means you got to get it done. You got to make a shot, and you got to even make sure it is a better look because you are undersized tonight.
We've had a 22-point swing in this game. It is the Kings now a 24-point swing. So, the Kings are, yeah, that's right. There's been a 24-point swing in this game. The Bulls had a 12-point lead in the first quarter, and the Kings now with a 12-point lead in this quarter. So good job.
The Kings outscoring the Bulls so far in this period at 25-10.
Yeah, keep it up, man. Do not let up. You need to win this game, and you need to have a couple of days off before you take Milwaukee, get some rest, but do not blow this game. They had a 20-point lead against Phoenix, and they blew that game. And you better make sure that you put the foot all the way down on the pedal here and do not let up. The Bulls are going to make a run because they're a 3-point shooting team, and they're going to go into a flurry where they cut the lead to, 3, 4, or 5 or what have you. Just keep doing with what you're doing. Keep doing with what you're doing.
Interesting that Saric has not been part of the rotation. I think that experiment has kind of failed up until this point with Doug Christie.
And I'm not surprised. I didn't think he'd be part of the rotation, and I think the only reason why he has Rhino is because of injuries. And so I don't see him playing very much. I mean, matter of fact, when Nick Clifford comes back, and obviously when Keegan Murray comes back, he'll never get on the floor. But yeah, I don't see that. I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
Again, it's 58-46 right now with 4:12 left. But yeah, Sharich isn't going to get on the floor. I think it's just he's a guy to practice. He's a guy to have if you need it. He's experienced. He's not going to kill you, but his limitations. Defensively, he's not very good. He can shoot if he's feeling it, but that's about all he can do.
Yeah, and you're probably going to turn to Doug McDermott in the regular season if you have a full roster to play with, if you needed somebody at that position, just because he's such a much better three-point shooter and he hunts shots. On the text line, or excuse me, on the YouTube chat, Cardwell looks lost out there whenever he's on the floor. He can't put the ball in the hoop and picks up silly fouls. You're only watching one side of the court, NBA Fast.
Who is he talking about?
Dylan Cardwell.
Oh. Well, I mean, I would love to see him more because I don't have a really good read on him because he hasn't really played that much. And I think, obviously, when Murray gets back, he will play very little. But he intrigues me a little bit.
100%. He is so raw offensively, but the physicality that he plays with and the things that he does that don't show up on the stat sheets, like the way he sets screens, some of the best screens I've seen set since Domantas Sabonis. So you get him, you let him work. He's a two-way player. So you got to develop him.
And that's what they have him on the roster for. And he will develop. And, as you pointed out, the Kings have done a nice job in Stockton with developing their players. They've obviously, we talk about Keon Ellis and others, but so he'll get his experience. Don't forget YouTube right after the game. If you don't like that is the name of the channel. If you don't like that with Grant Napear, Jerry joins me along with Rhino and Sacktown. Hopefully the beam is lit. The Kings desperately need a victory. So far, so good. Up 10 with under 4 minutes left to go in the second quarter. But as we well know, nothing's done until that final horn sounds, especially with the Kings. So we'll see what happens. Hope you have a fabulous evening, everybody. Thanks so much for joining me right here at the Grant Napear Show on Fox Sports Sacramento. Bye-bye.
At Downtown Ford Sacramento, we're proud of our long heritage. We've consistently provided Ford cars and trucks to families and businesses in this region for over 100 years. If we think about it, practically every kid who grew up in this town at one time or another rode around in a Ford that we sold to their family. We've served multiple generations of local farmers and ranchers who got their rugged Ford trucks from us. We've also provided many of the emergency vehicles that you see out doing the people's work every day on the streets. All of us at Downtown Ford, from our top-notch service department who keep your Ford running like new, to our dedicated finance team and the guys and gals in our showroom, we thank you for generations of love and loyalty to us. And for that love, we say right back at you. We're doing Fords just like we always have. Come see us any day of the week or visit us online at downtownfordsacramento.com.
Looking for the ultimate night out? Welcome to HQ Showgirls, Sacramento's premier adult gentlemen's club. We're the only topless club between Reno and San Francisco serving alcohol, beer, wine, and champagne. All inside over 6,000 square feet of pure excitement. Planning a party or a VIP night? Call our VIP manager now at 916-389-0199 to book your table. Come experience the energy at